Chapter 2389. 2389 was furious. Boom, boom, boom. The situation above Area 54 was the same as Area 53. Xian Jinwei and Wang Xian were attacking a sea monster at the peak of the Master God Realm. In less than a minute, the sea monster at the peak of the Master God Realm was assassinated by Ao Yao. As for the other sea monster, its speed was even faster. Wang Xian grabbed the two corpses and stepped into the ocean to devour them. This is too ferocious. The general of Area 54 was also shocked. His eyes were filled with shock when he saw the black and white figure. It's just that heaven-defying. Brother Wang's subordinate is too strong. Xian Jinsho said to Old Hong with a smile on his face. Haha, with General Wang around, victory for us humans is right in front of us. Old Hong's face was filled with excitement. The three of them took action and swiftly cleared out some of the peak stage Master God experts to reduce the pressure on the other soldiers. Brother Wang, I'll go to Area 25. You and Old Hong will head to Area 55. After clearing out some Master God sea monsters, Guard Xianzhen immediately spoke to Wang Xian. Alright General Hong, let's go. Wang Xian nodded and said to the old man. Haha, alright, let's go. The old man was also extremely excited. With such a terrifying speed, the strongest human was soon released. Once they were released, it would be a victory for mankind. Wang Xian and the old man flew towards Area 55, while Chief Xian teleported towards Area 25. Haha, good. In the main command room, the highest commander was also looking at this scene with excitement. That Wang Xian and his terrifying underling were simply too ferocious. They were the saviors of mankind. The more powerhouses at the peak of the Master God level were freed, the more support they could provide to other places. In that case, mankind would not lose. All soldiers, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Kill. General Wang, who is guarding Area 51 and Area 52, has led his powerful subordinates and killed 7 peak God Lord sea monsters. Now that Area 52's mysterious guard has been liberated, more peak God Lord experts will be liberated soon. When the time comes, they will support you. Hold on. Victory in this war belongs to US humans. The Supreme Commander roared with excitement. His voice spread throughout the entire Guardian Wall, reaching every soldier's ears. What? District 51's District 52's General Wang and his subordinates actually killed so many peak sea monsters. Hahaha, this General Wang is simply too awesome. Long live. Hold on brothers, we humans of the Tianzi continent will definitely win. Definitely win. On the entire wall of protection, everyone's spirits jolted, their bodies filled with a strong fighting spirit. In such a short period of time, General Wang and the others had actually killed 7 peak Lord God Realm sea monsters. Victory was right before their eyes. At this time, in District 50, City Lord Liang and the commander of Sky City were fighting against 3 peak Lord God Realm sea monsters. The people of District 50 were very unlucky. They managed to attack 4 peak stage God Lord sea monsters at once. Most importantly, none of the sea monsters died under the attack of the 3 strategic shells. Under such circumstances, City Lord Liang immediately requested the support of Sky City, and the commander immediately flew over. However, even though the commander of Sky City had extremely powerful combat strength of the same level and had powerful treasures, he still managed to kill 1 sea monster. There were still 3 sea monsters left. 2 against 3. The situation was extremely dangerous, especially when there was a cunning peak stage God Lord sea monster attacking the rest of the soldiers of Sky City. The Supreme Commander immediately replied, Supreme Commander, another peak God Lord sea monster has appeared in our Area 3, requesting reinforcements. Right at this moment an angry roar sounded. The Supreme Commander's expression changed, and he immediately looked towards Sector 3. Hold on, reinforcements will arrive soon. He immediately replied loudly. Hahaha, another one has been killed. 3 minutes later, an incomparably carefree roar sounded from Sector 50's position. When everyone in the wall of protection heard this carefree roar, their faces revealed joy. Area 50, Area 3 needs reinforcements. General of Area 56, head there immediately. The highest commander immediately commanded loudly. All right. At Area 56, an old man opened his mouth and nodded his head excitedly. General, head to Area 3 for reinforcements. Wang Xian looked at the general of Area 56 and said with a smile. All right. The old man nodded his head. Now, wherever Wang Xian asked him to send reinforcements, he would naturally send reinforcements. Let's continue. The general known as Old Hong's eyes were filled with excitement. He immediately said to Wang Xian. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head in excitement as well. At this speed, he would soon possess the combat strength of an immortal god king. After devouring another 6 sea monsters at the peak of the God Lord realm, he would be able to increase his combat strength. The two of them immediately flew over. At the same time, the general of District 56 teleported to District 3. Where's the support? Where's the support? When the general of the 56th district arrived at the 3rd district, City Lord Liang spat out a mouthful of blood and roared angrily with a pale face. The general of the 56th district is already fighting in the 3rd district. General of the 50th district, wait for a few more minutes for the support. The highest commander immediately replied. Damn it, our 50th district is relatively close to the 3rd district. The 3rd district is your federation's district. You guys did it on purpose. City Lord Liang's face was filled with rage as he questioned sternly. When the commander of the city in the sky received this news, his face turned extremely gloomy. General of Area 50, this is their choice. I, the commander, will not show any favoritism, nor will I do it on purpose. Everyone is a hero. The Supreme Commander's face turned stern as he spoke with a righteous expression. It's that fellow, it's that Wang Xian. When City Lord Liang heard the Supreme Commander's words, his expression changed drastically. At this moment, he suddenly roared in a low voice that was filled with killing intent. He naturally knew who that General Wang of the 51st District and 52nd District was. Based on the grudge between them and the other party, it would be their turn to provide support in the end. Furthermore, the other party was hindering them in the dark and might not come to provide support to them. Thinking of this, City Lord Liang gritted his teeth. The commander of Sky City beside him also realized this problem, and his expression was extremely gloomy. Beast, get over here. Suddenly, City Lord Liang waved his arm, and a majestic energy shot towards a peak stage God Lord sea monster in front of the commander. The commander of Sky City was slightly stunned. I'll lure them to the side. City Lord Liang's eyes flickered as he spoke to the commander of Sky City. The commander was slightly stunned, and a cold look appeared in his eyes. He glanced in the direction of District 51 and nodded heavily. Chapter 2390. 2390, Under the Fury of 2390. General Wang is here. Ha ha ha, General Wang is here. Kill, kill, kill. Alright. General Wang, help me kill this bunch of animals. At Area 57 of the Wall of Protection, when the experts guarding the area saw Wang Xian rushing over with the general, their faces were filled with excitement. They had heard the words of the Supreme Commander. However, when they saw Wang Xian and the rest arriving, everyone in Area 57 was still in shock. Their speed was simply too fast. The speed of suppressing an area was simply too fast. Second Grandpa, unleash your strongest attack. The general known as Old Hong shouted at the general in Area 57. Good. The general's eyes were filled with excitement. He gripped the long saber in his hand tightly and attacked the sea monster at the peak of the Master God realm. Old Hong followed closely behind. Wang Xian stretched out his dragon claw and clawed at the sea monster at the peak of the Master God realm. Boom, boom, boom. The full-strength attack of the two generals was not able to cause serious injuries to the sea monster at the peak of the Master God realm. However, this attack was sufficient. Faced with such a powerful attack, the sea monster at the peak of the Master God realm had no chance to deal with the strange demon's assassination. Under the flickering of light and darkness, death was brought. At this moment, Wang Xian grabbed the body of the sea monster and pulled it into the ocean. Good, good. General Old Hong laughed out loud. An instant kill. Another instant kill. Awesome. Another general looked at the spot where Ao Yao disappeared and exclaimed in awe. Splash. The next moment, Wang Xian rushed out from the ocean. General Wang, I'll go and reinforce the 50th region then. When the general of the 57th region saw Wang Xian coming out, he smiled and said immediately. Now that the 50th region was in danger, he could rush over. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head. Now that the humans of the Tianzi continent were in a life-and-death situation, he would ask the generals to support the region defended by the city in the sky. However, he didn't care about not supporting them on purpose. After his upgrade this time around, he would also possess the combat strength of an immortal god king. At that time, he would settle the score from the past. Alright, the rest of the regions will depend on General Wang. The general of the 57th region said loudly. If he could survive this calamity, General Wang would have contributed greatly. Howl, howl, howl. However, at this time, at the 50th region, City Lord Liang led 2 pinnacle god lord sea monsters towards the 51st region. He glanced at the 2 pinnacle god lord sea monsters behind him, gritting his teeth, his eyes filled with viciousness. He looked at the somewhat calm Area 51. His gaze was filled with coldness. Voila! Without any hesitation, he charged into the ocean. Not good. Leader Ao Xingmu. The experts of Area 50 have attracted the 2 peak Lord God Realm sea monsters to our side. A member of the Dragon Palace who was guarding at the edge of Area 51 immediately roared with a huge change in expression. Roar! 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 However, at this moment, 2 peak Master God sea monsters charged over, and the terrifying shockwave instantly killed the member of the Dragon Palace. At the same time, City Lord he continued to fly forward. Along the way, the shockwaves killed the members of the Dragon Palace one by one. In just a dozen seconds, dozens of members of the Dragon Palace died instantly, and half of them were Eternal Master God level. Crash! Ao Xingmu immediately looked to the left at the junction of Area 51 and Area 52. He was furious when he saw 2 peak god lords flying toward him. Damn it! He immediately went up to them. At this moment, Ao Xingmu's expression was extremely gloomy. He had never expected that the general of the 50th region would actually attract peak stage divine lord sea monsters. If he was not in charge of this place, the fate of the disciples of the Dragon Palace would be imaginable. The sudden sound that resounded through the protective wall stunned all the humans. What? At the 57th region, Wang Xian, who was about to head to the 58th region, stopped in his tracks. His face instantly sank. He had never expected that the people from the city in the sky would actually dare to attract the sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm to their Dragon Palace. A terrifying killing intent shot out from Wang Xian's eyes instantly. City in the sky, all of you must die. Wang Xian roared furiously. His voice was filled with endless killing intent. His voice reverberated throughout the entire wall of protection, causing the expressions of all the humans to change drastically. Damn it, what are you people from Zone 50 doing? I have already gone to your place to provide support. The general from Area 57, who was already halfway there, had a drastic change in his expression as he questioned angrily. Boom, boom, boom. Wang Xian flew directly towards the Dragon Palace's garrison. His entire body was exuding a strong murderous aura. Oh no! In the commander's office, the Supreme Commander's expression changed drastically when he saw this scene. General Wang, you can't! He immediately shouted loudly. Wang Xian's expression didn't change at all when he heard his voice. He instantly came to the sky above the Dragon Palace's garrison and looked down. On the surface of the sea, Ao Xingmu and City Lord Liang were fighting against 2 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm. City Lord Liang, who had a similarly gloomy expression, glanced at Wang Xian coldly when he saw him flying over. General Wang, we were forced to do so. Furthermore, you have a Master God at the peak of the Master God realm here. City Lord Liang said coldly. Kill. Wang Xian stared at City Lord Liang, his eyes filled with awe. Boom boom. In the next moment, he attacked City Lord Liang without any hesitation. General Wang, do you know what you are doing? How dare you attack me? Are you trying to make an enemy out of our natural selection continent? When City Lord Liang saw that Wang Xian was actually attacking him, he roared furiously, while blocking the attack of the sea monsters. Boom. However, there was no fluctuation in Wang Xian's eyes. His arm turned into a dragon claw as he attacked City Lord Liang directly. Damn it, you are betraying the human race. A hint of fear flashed across City Lord Liang's eyes. He did not expect that Wang Xian would actually want to kill him at this moment. He dared to have an internal conflict during the calamity. Damn it, what happened? What are the people of Sky City doing? General Wang wants to attack the experts of Sky City? This is a war. The other areas of the wall of protection changed their expressions when they heard the voice. Chapter 2391. 2391 was fearless. Boom, boom, boom. Wang Xian swooped down from the sky, completely ignoring the sea monster at the peak of the Divine Lord realm beside him. You're courting death. You actually want to kill me. City Lord Liang's expression changed as he let out a series of roars. Every single one of his voice was heard by everyone in the wall of protection. It was obvious that he wanted to let others know of Wang Xian's actions, so that he would have some scruples. This was the truth. Many experts frowned when they heard his words. However, City Lord Liang was wrong about one thing. Wang Xian did not have any scruples about this. Speaking of which, he was not from the Tianzi continent. The reason why he was able to guard this place was firstly to obtain the corpse of the sea monster. Secondly, it was because he had the Xian Heaven domain backing him up. Xian Tianzi was also good to him. Naturally, the Dragon Palace had to make a move. However, this did not mean that the people from the city in the sky had caused the death of his Dragon Palace's disciples. He would continue to fend off the sea monster. 5 elements, law of annihilation. Wang Xian extended his dragon claw, and the terrifying dragon claw clawed at his body. The killing intent that filled the sky was not concealed at all. Damn it! City Lord Liang's expression changed drastically when he saw Wang Xian's attack. He immediately brandished the sharp sword in his hand, and drew a terrifying long river to meet Wang Xian's attack. Boom! A terrifying collision was heard. City Lord Liang was still trying to defend against the sea monster's attack. His expression changed drastically. Buzz! At the next moment, a death threat covered his entire body. His face was filled with horror. Boom! At the next moment, a white image appeared on his body. Puff! Ao Yao's sharp claws landed on his body. However, the powerful defense on his body prevented him from dying. His entire body was pierced through, and the light and dark energy landed on their bodies, causing his expression to change drastically. His face was filled with cold sweat of terror. Is this fellow's terrifying underling? No wonder he could instantly kill a peak god lord sea monster. City Lord Liang's lips turned white, and his body slowly turned white as well. Although the supreme treasure on his body had blocked this attack, his entire body was heavily injured. Run! Without any hesitation, he immediately fled in the direction of District 50. General Wang wants to kill me. Save me. At the same time, he roared and his voice spread throughout the wall of protection. When everyone heard this voice, their expressions changed. He's not dead yet. When Wang Xian saw that City Lord Liang was still alive, his eyes were filled with fear. Ao Xingmu, you single-handedly hold off the 2 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm. All the members of the Dragon Palace, follow me and kill everyone in the city in the sky. How dare you deliberately lure the 2 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm here, to kill my Dragon Palace's disciples. You shall pay with blood. Wang Xian's face revealed an extremely violent expression. He did not try to hide his words at all. His voice similarly resounded throughout the entire wall of protection. Don't be afraid. If you dare to kill my Dragon Palace's disciples, I will pay you back tenfold. It's the Dragon King. More than 1,500 divine masters of the Dragon Palace, and 3,000 experts at the peak of the godly state let out a roar and charged toward District 50 with murderous intent. Damn it, how dare they? How dare they? City Lord Liang's face turned pale instantly when he heard Wang Xian's words. Once Wang Xian brought all the members of the Dragon Palace to attack them, it would mean that District 51 and District 52 had abandoned the defense. If they were to fight among themselves during this period, everyone would be waiting for their deaths. Bastards, what the hell are you doing in Area 50? General Wang, calm down the Dragon Palace army. One of the generals couldn't help but shout furiously. Kill! Kill everyone in the city and the sky in Area 50. At this moment, Wang Xian's cold roar was the response to all the humans in the Tianzi continent. Wang Xian flew over and stared at the soldiers of Sky City, who were guarding the area in front of him. Then, he ordered the members of the Dragon Palace. Kill! In the next moment, all the members of the Dragon Palace did not show any mercy and immediately launched a fatal attack. In an instant, the sea monsters attacked from the front, and the soldiers of Sky City, who were from the Dragon Palace on the right, were horrified. Bang! 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 In just one round of attack, tens of thousands of people from the Sky City were killed. Crazy! Why did City Lord Liang deliberately lure the Peak Lord God Realm Sea Monster to the Dragon Palace? Now we are in trouble. We are not from the Sky City, we are not. In an instant, the entire Area 50 was in chaos. General Wang, you are seeking your own death. The commander of Sky City, who was currently dealing with a peak stage Godlord Sea Monster, saw this scene, and his eyes instantly turned red as he shouted sternly. He also did not expect that the other party would actually abandon their defenses and come to kill them at this time. Was this the destruction of the entire human race of the Tianzi continent? General Wang. At this moment, the expression of the highest commander in the commander's room also changed drastically. He could no longer sit still and immediately flew out. General Wang, calm down. This is a matter of life and death for humans. The Supreme Commander flew rapidly toward District 50 and shouted loudly in the sky. Ha ha ha, Supreme Commander. You should know that I, Wang Xian, am not from the Tianzi continent. Just now, I led my men to kill 7 to 8 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God Realm. Now, the General of District 50 in the Sky City has deliberately lured 2 Master God Realm experts into the territory guarded by my Dragon Palace army, causing the death of my Dragon Palace disciples. I want to take revenge now. I want all the soldiers of District 50 in the Sky City to die. Wang Xian responded in a stern voice. With a wave of his dragon claw, he charged toward the Eternal Lord level powerhouses. Save me, City Lord Commander, save me. The faces of all the Sky City's powerhouses in the 50th region turned pale instantly, as they begged for mercy desperately. However, the Sky City's people in the 50th region were no match for the members of the Dragon Palace. They were all killed quickly. Because of the Dragon Palace's attack, some of the sea monsters flew up to the wall of protection. The Federation sergeants on the wall of protection responded with pale faces. Sky City, what the fuck are you doing? Do you want to kill the entire human race? A general in the area guarded by the land of battle techniques roared angrily. Why did the general of the 50th region deliberately attract the 2 peak god-level sea monsters to other regions? Do you want to be a sinner of the human race in the Tianzi continent? Commander Xian, who was at the mysterious sky territory, also roared with a face full of anger. Everyone on the wall of protection was extremely furious. They were extremely shocked that General Wang was not someone from the Tianzi continent. Now, someone was helping to guard the area and had achieved great results. Now, someone was actually trying to harm the other party. This caused the other party to directly abandon the defense. The general of the 50th region was simply courting death. Chapter 2392. 2392 2392 will be sentenced to death. General Wang, please stop, please stop. Just when everyone in the wall of protection was furious at the general of the 50th district, the Supreme Commander flew to the 50th district and immediately shouted at Wang Xian. "I'm sorry, Supreme Commander. He caused the death of a disciple of the Dragon Palace. I have to bury the entire 50th district with him. If anyone dares to stop him, we will fight." Wang Xian glanced at the Supreme Commander. His eyes were filled with incomparable coldness. He didn't show any mercy at all. "Commander Zui Wuan, this is what the city in the sky has done. Our Area 57 has just finished dealing with the sea monsters and is preparing to come and support you. Is this what you have done?" The general of the Area 57 had also rushed over. He glared at the commander of the city in the sky, who was fighting against the sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm, and questioned him. "I didn't give any orders." The commander of Sky City clenched his fists and roared furiously when he saw this scene. He didn't expect such a situation. "Supreme Commander, save me! Save me!" Beside him, the soldiers of Sky City of the 50th region begged for mercy and fear. With 1,500 Divine Lord Realm experts, and Wang Xian's continuous attacks, hundreds of thousands of Sky City's experts had already died at his hands. It might not be long before everyone in District 50 would be killed. Meanwhile, the soldiers who came to support the people who did not belong to Sky City were furious, and did not participate in the battle. Instead, they were watching from the wall of protection. Many of them had noticed when City Lord Liang led the two masters of the God Realm sea monsters earlier. Now that the Dragon Palace's army was so strong, they would not be foolish enough to send themselves to their deaths. At this moment, even if they did not fight, the Supreme Commander would not say anything. Damn it! The Supreme Commander also stared at City Lord Liang with a face full of killing intent. This damn fellow had caused great losses to the human race. "Dragon King, we can discuss this properly," the Supreme Commander said with an embarrassed expression. At this moment, they had to calm down Wang Xian's anger as soon as possible. Otherwise, the human race would be in even more danger. Their fight might cause billions of human casualties, or even extinction. Wang Xian ignored him, and continued to kill the people of the city in the sky with murderous intent. City Lord Liang was floating in the distance. He didn't dare to attack Wang Xian at all. "Damn it! I am the highest commander of the Federation. I hereby exercise my authority to enforce the law. General of the 50th District, City Lord Liang of the Peerless City in the Sky, has violated the interests of the humans of the Tianzi continent. I don't care about the crisis of the Tianzi continent. I hereby announce that I am taking the order of City Lord Liang. Do any of the generals of the Tianzi continent object to this?" The Supreme Commander clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, and announced loudly, "General Wang, take his head. I hope that you can consider the interests of the humans of the Tianzi continent." After he announced, he looked at Wang Xian and said in a deep voice, "Let him die immediately. I will continue to protect this place." Wang Xian replied coldly, "No objection. It's a catastrophe for us humans. How dare a general do such a thing? He should be killed. He should be killed. City in the Sky, give me an explanation. Hurry up. Is that guy trying to kill all of us humans?" After the Supreme Commander made the announcement, furious voices were heard immediately. Only some of the powerhouses in City in the Sky remained silent. Clearly, even though General Wang was unbridled, he had killed numerous peak God Lord sea monsters for the humans and freed many generals. Now that City Lord Liang had broken the rules, he had to pay the price. At this moment, City Lord Liang's face instantly turned pale. His body trembled, and his eyes were filled with panic. "City Lord Liang, look, all the soldiers around you have died because of you. Kill yourself immediately. If you dare to resist, kill all your descendants." Chapter 2393. 2393. Another incident happened. Kill. Wang Xian immediately charged into the battlefield between Ao Xingmu and the two sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm. Ao Yao, who was hiding in the surroundings, was waiting for an opportunity to strike. However, the two sea monsters seemed to have sensed something, and were very alert to their surroundings. The sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm were not fools. Ao Yao had once severely injured City Lord Liang in front of them. Dragon King. The members of the Dragon Palace have received a substantial increase in their combat strength. In addition, a strange demon's combat strength has now reached the peak of the Master God realm. At this moment, Prime Minister Gui's voice was heard. Oh, get that strange demon to come over and participate in the battle immediately. Wang Xian's face lit up as he said immediately. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gui nodded his head. Soon, a shadow flashed behind Wang Xian. Dragon King, leave the sea monster to us. We will definitely kill it within 3 seconds. Ao Yaoyao's confident voice entered Wang Xian's mind. All right. He smiled and nodded his head immediately. The next moment, a black and white shadow flashed behind the sea monster. Roar! The sea monster raised its huge palm and slapped at Ao Yao. Bang! The sea monster blocked Ao Yao's attack. Pooh! But in the next moment, an extremely strange black and white figure appeared above its head. The figure's arm was placed on its head, and a bewitching smile appeared on its face. A thorn dragon had an 80% to 90% chance of assassinating an existence of the same level. However, if 2 thorn dragon species were to assassinate an existence of the same level at the same time, the opponent would definitely die. Roar! Roar! The other sea monster at the peak of the Master God level let out a furious roar. However, these sea monsters were clearly given a death order by the Master God level sea monster, and did not dare to escape. Next, killing the other sea monster at the peak of the Master God level would be much easier. There are still 4 more to go. Wang Xian looked at his attributes. As long as he could devour another 4 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm, he would be able to increase his attributes. Generals of Xiantian, where are the sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm that have yet to be dealt with? Wang Xian moved his body and flew out of the surface of the sea. His mighty voice spread to the surroundings. Hiss, that General Wang and the rest are so terrifying. Didn't the general of Area 50 lure 2 sea monsters to their area just now? How did they get rid of them so quickly? They are so fast. They were still entangled with Area 50 just now, and now they are free again. Everyone who heard Wang Xian's words had a look of surprise on their faces. However, soon after, a smile appeared on their faces. The stronger General Wang was, the better it would be for them. Good. General Wang, Area 59 needs reinforcements. Haha. Commander Xian's voice was heard from Area 59. I'll be there soon. Wang Xian moved his body and teleported to Area 59 instantly. That's great. If Wang Xian can free Commander Xian and the rest of the people from Area 59, the situation will basically be stabilized. In the main command room, the highest commander clenched his fists. His face revealed an extremely excited voice. What terrifying strength! It will be very difficult to kill him without the help of the godly king. In the 50th region, the commander of Sky City frowned with a complicated expression on his face. The enmity between Sky City and the other party had been completely formed. Now that the other party was strong, it would be very beneficial to the humans. A determined look appeared in the eyes of the commander of Sky City. He had already made up his mind to kill Wang Xian in the shortest time possible. Ha, brother Wang Xian is here. At Area 59, when Commander Xian saw Wang Xian flying over, a smile appeared on his face. Let's kill these 3 beasts first. Wang Xian swept his gaze across the battlefield and said with a smile. There were 4 sea monsters at the peak of the Divine Lord realm in Area 59. One of them was killed by Commander Xian. There were 3 more. He could still deal with 3 of them by himself with ease. An array master could fight above his level. The more arrays he had, the stronger he would be. The experts from the Xiantian territory had yet to achieve the ability to fight above his level. However, as the strongest expert below Xiantianzi in the Xiantian territory, it would not be a problem for him to deal with 3 to 4 of the same level. Commander Xian's strength was one of the strongest existences below the Master God level in the entire Tianzi continent. 3 of them. Soon. Wang Xian saw the 3 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm on the battlefield, and rushed over in an instant. Commander Xian, who was already at a disadvantage, had it much easier with Wang Xian's help. Under the continuous attacks of the 2 thorn dragon species, the 3 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm were all killed in less than 5 minutes. Good. Commander Xian's gaze swept across Ao Yao and the rest. His eyes revealed a look of shock as he laughed out loud and said the 3 words good. Haha, good, the humans will definitely win. Commander Xian invites you to the 63rd region. At this moment, the Supreme Commander's voice also rang out, and his face was filled with excitement as he laughed loudly. At this moment he had already seen the hope of victory. When everyone on the Guardian Wall heard the Supreme Commander's words, their hearts also relaxed. Some people could not help but reveal smiles of having survived a disaster. Dragon King, something has happened at the bottom of the sea. A large number of level 8 sea monsters have rushed out. Among them, there are sea monsters at the peak of the Eternal Lord level. However, at this moment, Ao Xingmu's voice suddenly rang out. At this moment, Wang Xian was still in the sea, and had just devoured the corpses of 3 peak of the Eternal Lord level sea monsters. When he heard Ao Xingmu's voice transmission, he was slightly shocked. He immediately looked at the bottom of the ocean below him. The dragon eyes of the Yin-Yang 5 elements penetrated through the layers of seawater. Very soon, he realized that thousands of sea monsters were charging at him from below. Thousands of sea monsters were nothing compared to the sea monsters' army. However, every single one of them exuded a strength that was no less than the 8th level of the Eternal Divine Lord realm. Oh no! It's those sea monsters that are devouring the netherworld sea monsters at the bottom of the sea. Something big has happened. Wang Xian's expression changed. Not long ago, when he entered the bottom of the sea, he discovered that these young sea monsters that were devouring the netherworld sea monsters at the level 8 of the Eternal Lord were devouring the corpses. How can they grow so fast? How is this possible? Wang Xian had a bad premonition in his heart. Everyone be careful. There are a large number of level 8 sea monsters at the bottom of the sea. Among them, there are some at the peak of the Master God realm. Wang Xian immediately rushed out of the water and shouted at everyone. His voice instantly spread to everyone on the wall of protection. What? At this moment, everyone's expression changed drastically. No one doubted that Wang Xian's words were fake. The bottom of the sea. There is a huge crisis coming out from the bottom of the sea. One by one, the experts looked towards the bottom of the sea. Very soon, they could feel waves of barbaric aura rushing towards them. Chapter 2394. 2394 stirred up trouble again. Everyone be careful. Retreat to the wall of protection. In the main command room, the Supreme Commander's expression changed drastically when he heard Wang Xian and the rest of the general's words. He immediately made a decision. Retreat! Retreat! The experts immediately gave the order. Walala! Boom! 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 However, in front of the wall of protection, many people were fighting against the sea monsters. There was no way for them to escape. One by one pitch-black, irregular-shaped sea monsters rushed out from the bottom of the sea like mud, directly attacking one person after another. Roar, roar, roar. Along with them, there were many peak god lord level sea monsters. Ah! Oh no, a powerful sea monster has rushed out. Another peak god lord level sea monster has appeared in Area 45, requesting reinforcements. In an instant, the entire area ahead was in complete chaos. Many experts were instantly killed by the sea monsters that charged out. Even if there were a few hundred sea monsters of the lowest rank of Eternal God Lord, it would still be a terrifying number. Moreover, there was also a peak God Lord sea monster appearing. Defend, defend with all your might. The highest commander in the main command room saw the scene in front of him. His eyes instantly turned blood red as he shouted sternly. A peak god lord sea monster has appeared in Zone 33, requesting reinforcements. Not good. More than 700 God Lord rank 8 sea monsters have appeared in Zone 25, requesting reinforcements. A large number of God Lord rank 8 sea monsters have appeared in Zone 40. We can't hold them off. Cries for help were heard from the generals of the various zones. The sudden appearance of the swallowing netherworld sea monster had instantly caused the deaths of millions of people. 70% of the area of the wall of protection was in danger. Buzz, buzz, buzz. When Wuxia noticed that there was a problem at the bottom of the sea, he immediately teleported to Area 51 to 52. As soon as he arrived, Wuxia saw Ao Xingmu fighting against 2 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm. There were more than 1,000 Master God level 8 sea monsters around him. There were also many more members of the Dragon Palace, where the Dragon Palace was guarding. Dragon King, the situation is critical. I will order the 5,000 Master God realm members to join the battle immediately. Prime Minister Gui's voice was heard. These 5,000 members of the Dragon Palace were the experts trained in the past 10 days. Each of them had the combat strength of an eternal Master God and above. Even so, it was still very difficult to deal with over 1,000 Master God realm level 8 sea monsters. If not for a few level 9 sea monsters, the Dragon Palace would have suffered heavy losses. This was the case even with the Dragon Palace's strength, not to mention other places. Let's kill the 2 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm first. Wuxia's gaze swept across the 2 sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm. His eyes shone brightly. Ao Yao, lock onto one and kill it first. Wuxia shouted softly, and immediately locked onto one of the sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm. He only lacked one now. He only needed the last sea monster at the peak of the Master God realm to upgrade himself. Buzz! 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 Wuxia rushed over. Ao Yao and the rest immediately carried out an assassination. Roar! Wuxia could not help but let out a roar when he saw the sea monster that was severely injured and on the verge of death. His head turned into a dragon's head and headed straight for the sea monster to devour it. Boom! 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 The sea monster at the peak of the Master God level entered his body and turned into an extremely dense dragon energy. An incomparably majestic aura burst out from his body instantly. The bodies of all the sea monsters in the surroundings trembled slightly. Their eyes were filled with horror. Wuxia closed his eyes slightly, and a phantom of a divine dragon appeared around him. The phantom of the divine dragon was 10,000 meters long, and every dragon scale was vivid and lifelike. The 7-colored divine dragon circled around his body and entered his mouth directly. Buzz! Wuxia opened his eyes abruptly and 7-colored scales appeared around his body. These were the material scales formed from the laws of 7 attributes. The Eternal Lord had comprehended laws, and this law was mixed in the attributes. As for the Eternal God King, he made the laws materialize. The purer the laws were, the stronger the attack power was. The fire attribute law fire could materialize directly and could burn for hundreds of millions of years. The God King realm was the process of materializing the laws. And if the God King wanted to improve further, he needed to comprehend his own laws and supernatural powers. This was not something that Wuxia could deal with at the moment. Wuxia's current realm was only level 5 of the Eternal Celestial Master. The reason why he could have a combat strength that was comparable to level 1 of the Immortal Celestial Master was because the 7 attributes were compressed together and the laws were materialized. As long as he used his strength, the laws would be condensed around him. His entire being was incomparably vast. Name, Wuxia. Race, Yin-Yang 5 Elements Divine Dragon, Mandragon Unity. Level, Eternal Divine Lord Level 5, Divine Dragon Transformation Level 6. Origin, 44/10/000. Supernatural ability, Rule the Water Tribe, rule the Water Tribe below one's level. Devour living beings to extract origin. Control of the 5 elements. Cultivation method, Divine Dragon Transformation. Supernatural ability, Soul Absorbing Spirit Attaching, Yin-Yang 5 elements dragon eyes. Aspect: 5 elements great mill, dragon kingdom in the palm, dragon head under the heavens, dragon body of 10,000 miles, Yin-Yang poles, Yin-Yang 5 elements alms bowl divine dragon tail swing. Law: metal wood water fire earth light and darkness level 5. Kingdom of God, Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace owned, level 7. Member of Dragon Palace. 166,693. After taking a glance at his attributes, Wang Xian revealed a faint smile. He had finally taken this step. The current him was no longer a weakling in the entire greater world. Whoosh! Wang Xian looked at the thousands of level 8 sea monsters, and a sea monster at the peak of the Master God realm in front of him, and waved his arm. A dazzling 7-colored ray of light swept across the area in front of him, and instantly covered more than 10,000 kilometers. Bang! With just one strike, he killed all the sea monsters within a radius of more than 10,000 kilometers. Level 8 sea monsters that were at the peak of the Master God level, and the Eternal Master God level. His footsteps were light. He directly stepped to the right, and activated the laws under his feet. Immediately, he was 10,000 kilometers away. Crash! With a wave of his arm, he covered another 10,000 kilometers. Wang Xian moved step by step. It took less than 2 minutes for him to cover more than 800,000 kilometers. In just 2 minutes, more than 1 billion sea monsters had died at his hands. Warning! Warning! Everyone, return to the wall of protection. Immediately. We are about to activate the defensive formation set up by Prince Xian Tianzi. Everyone, return immediately. At this moment, the voice of the Supreme Commander rang out. Everyone's face sank when they heard this order, and their eyes revealed a look of horror. The final defensive formation was set up by Son of God Xian Tianzi. Once the formation was activated, it meant that this was the final line of defense. Once it was broken through, what awaited the humans was death. However, at this time 70% of the regions had suffered heavy damage, and there were even many peak God Lord experts who had fallen. The humans could no longer hold on. Now they could only fight for the last bit of time to find a solution. Or, they could wait for the return of the God King to kill this group of sea monsters. The third calamity of the Tianze continent might completely erupt. Chapter 2395. 2395. General Wang in exchange for reinforcements. Ha! At the bottom of the sea in front of Area 51 and 52, Wang Xian heard the voice of the highest commander. He frowned slightly, his body moved, and he immediately stood on the surface of the sea. Buzz! Buzz! Just as he was about to speak, layers of solid laws were flashing on the wall of protection behind him. General Wang, come back quickly. Humans can pass through the formation. At the position of the wall of protection, Ling Chunyan shouted loudly when she saw Wang Xian standing on the surface of the sea. Wang Xian took a glance at the positions on both sides. The increase in his strength had greatly increased his vision. Everyone tried their best to escape into the wall of protection. One by one, the sea monsters charged towards the wall of protection and were immediately blocked by the solid laws. All human generals, masters of level 8 and above, come to the main command room to discuss the battle situation. All human generals, God Lord level 8 and above, come to the main command room to discuss the battle situation. At this moment, a mechanical voice sounded in every area, causing the faces of all the powerhouses to sink slightly. Prime Minister Gui, bring some members of the Dragon Palace to the wall of protection. Wang Xian also heard this voice. He hesitated for a moment and decided not to go over. Now that he had just leveled up to the Immortal King level, there were so many powerful sea monsters around him. Naturally, he had to hunt them down. Not to mention leveling up himself, he had to at least let one member of the Dragon Palace possess the combat strength of an Immortal King. With the combat strength of the 2 Immortal Kings of the Dragon Palace, it would be much easier to deal with the city in the sky. Other than that, it would be best if he could also upgrade some of the peak experts of the Dragon Palace. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gui and the rest nodded and led the members of the Dragon Palace to the top of the wall of protection. The rest of the members of the Dragon Palace immediately entered the Dragon Palace. Ao Xingmu, enter the Dragon Pool of the Dragon Palace and prepare to be promoted again. You will have the combat strength of an immortal king. Wang Xian looked at Ao Xingmu and said immediately, "It's the Dragon King." Ao Xingmu nodded his head. Just now, Wang Xian had killed more than 1 billion sea monsters. Among them, there were more than 1,000 level 8 Eternal Celestial Master and 1 Peak Stage Celestial Master. With these resources added together, Wang Xian only needed to kill another 4 or 5 Peak Stage Celestial Master sea monsters to upgrade Ao Xingmu. The upgrade of the members of the Dragon Palace required more resources than Wang Xian. "Ao Yao, follow me," Wang Xian said as he looked towards the 53rd region on the right. At the 53rd region, everyone had retreated to the wall of protection. Due to the protection of the King of Gods formation, all the soldiers had collapsed on the wall of protection. In the 53rd region, at least hundreds of millions of sea monsters had gathered in front of the wall of protection and were attacking non-stop. Especially at the front, 500 to 600 Master God level 8 devouring netherworld sea monsters were slapping their bodies. There was also a Master God level pinnacle sea monster among them. Laws revolved around Wang Xian's body, and he instantly arrived at the bottom of the 53rd region's sea. Crack, crack, crack. Wang Xian spread his arms and 7-colored laws attacked the Master God level pinnacle sea monster and 500 to 600 devouring netherworld sea monsters. Roar, roar, roar. In an instant, the faces of the powerful sea monsters were filled with terrified roars. Wang Xian pulled gently, causing all the sea monsters to enter the position at the bottom of the sea. Following that, in the sea in front of Area 53, the sea monsters entered the sea and disappeared quickly. What happened? Why did the sea monsters in front of us disappear? Did they dive to the bottom of the sea? Are these sea monsters up to something? In Area 53, some people noticed the situation in front of them and were filled with curiosity. There are so many swallowing netherworld sea monsters. There are 500 to 600 of them in one area. There are more than 70 areas in total. Doesn't that mean there are more than 40,000 of them? More than 40,000 level 8 Eternal God Lord sea monsters. At this moment, at the bottom of the sea, Wang Xian was flying rapidly towards Area 54. The number of level 8 sea monsters was so many that it shocked Wang Xian. However, such a number also surprised Wang Xian. He only needed to clear 2 or 3 more regions to enable Ao Xingmu to possess the strength of an immortal king. In addition, as long as he killed a few more regions, the strength of the other disciples of the Dragon Palace would receive a terrifying increase. This calamity is a huge opportunity for the Dragon Palace. A smile appeared on his face as he flew swiftly to the right. While Wang Xian was hunting crazily, more than 2,000 experts were gathered in the main command room. The weakest one among them was at level 8 of the Eternal Lord. With such strength, he could be considered as the core of the humans in the Tianzi continent. There were more than 2,000 rank 8 God Lords and above, but there were not many of them. Over the past 10 days of battle, at least 700 to 800 top-tier experts had fallen. At this moment, the command center was in a panic. The scene on the screen of the command center revealed extremely ugly expressions. In every region, there were at least 500 to 600 rank 8 God Lords, and at least 1 peak God Lord expert. In most places, there were 2 or even 3 of them. Compared to the strength of the sea monsters, the strength of humans was simply overwhelming. At this time, the humans could no longer resist. What's the situation with the 4 God Kings? In this situation, only the God Kings can come and help, otherwise. An expert could not help but ask. The defense of the wall of protection can last for 1.5 days. In this 1.5 days, we have to find a way to survive. Otherwise, if this place is lost, the humans will enter the Dark Era. I have already contacted the godly monarchs. The 4 godly monarchs have yet to reply. The highest commander stood at the front and said in a deep voice, "Then what do we do now? What about our Tianzi continent?" A general frowned and asked. Once this place was lost, the humans would become food for the sea monsters. At that time, tens of billions or even hundreds of billions of people would face death. That's right. We have already lost hundreds of millions of people, and more than a dozen peak god lord experts have died. A general quickly echoed. Everyone seemed to be shrouded in a haze, and a hint of despair flashed in their eyes. There are only two ways now. Our God King has received a report that we can come and deal with the sea monsters. The other thing is that we can find other planet experts to help us get through this difficult situation. The highest commander's face was heavy as he looked at everyone and sighed in his heart. There are too many uncertainties with the God Emperor. Let's see if we can find support. A general from the Federation frowned and asked, "Can't your Federation do it? Commander, isn't your son in the Heavenly Law sect? He was even taken in as a disciple by the God Emperor." A general from the Sword Domain looked at the commander and asked, "We've already requested for reinforcements, but the Heavenly Law sect God Emperor wants to know if the Undying Sea monsters will participate. Also, can we take out resources that the Undying God Emperor is willing to take out? After all, we have over a dozen sea monsters in the Tianzi continent." The highest commander said helplessly, Chapter 2396 2396 used General Wang to exchange for support. The sea monsters of the Tianzi continent weren't weak. Asking for support from other planets, even offering rewards, one first had to know the level and number of sea monsters one had to fight. Secondly, one had to offer a price that would tempt the Undying Emperor. Even asking for support from the Tian Fa men of the Star Source planet was the same. The Heavenly Law sect also knew the strength of the undersea sea monsters in the Tianzi continent. There were over a dozen Undying Emperor sea monsters. How many Undying Emperor sea monsters were involved in this calamity? What if one or two Undying Emperors from the Heavenly Law sect came and were attacked by the undersea Undying Emperor sea monsters? The Heavenly Law sect would not let the Undying Emperor take the risk. After all, every Undying Emperor was extremely precious. Other than that, to ask the Heavenly Law sect for reinforcements, it would require at least 4 God Emperors to speak up. God Emperor versus God Emperor. If others asked for reinforcements, the other side would not even care about you. The entire commander room's atmosphere was heavy. Everyone's expressions were extremely ugly. They had reached the most critical juncture of the Tianzi continent. It was related to the survival of the entire Tianzi continent. At the rear, the entire Heavens Selection continent was aware of the news at the front line. Everyone was standing in the open space or floating in the sky, nervously looking in the direction of the wall of protection. Once this place was lost, the entire Heaven Lake continent would definitely be in turmoil. Can you contact the higher-ups of the Heaven Beast Corporation? In the front of the command center, the eyes of the commander of Sky City were shining. He suddenly looked at an old man at the side and transmitted his voice. The old man was a level 9 Eternal God Lord, and his strength was not weak. "Commander Duan, our Divine Pet Pavilion only has the contact information of a peak God Lord from the Heaven Beast group, but they won't come to help us." The old man was slightly stunned, and then he said bitterly, "Tell them, if we take out the array formation that can trap the Eternal God Lord, are they willing to help us?" A hint of coldness flashed in Commander Duan's eyes, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. The old man was slightly startled, and his eyes shone. As a high-ranking member of the Pet God Pavilion, he also knew a little about General Wang's matter. After all, the master of the Pet God Pavilion had died at the hands of General Wang. "Yes, I'll contact him immediately. If we really use General Wang's formation to exchange for it, the other party has an 80% chance of not rejecting it," the old man said with some certainty. After all, that kind of formation had only been heard of in the greater world, by the Witch Formation Association, and 1 or 2 top-tier factions. For a faction that sold war pets, The value of this kind of formation was immeasurable. Commander Duan, have you thought of a way? The sword master from the northern region across them frowned and asked when he saw their small actions. We're trying to contact them. I don't know if we can succeed. Commander Duan scanned his surroundings and said, I feel that there's an 80% chance, but there must be sacrifices. 80%. Commander Duan, are you for real? Is there really an 80% chance? Sacrifices? Even if there are sacrifices, can we sacrifice hundreds of billions of people? We can withstand a little bit of sacrifice. When the surrounding experts heard his words, their eyes revealed an incomparably fervent expression as they excitedly said, Commander Duan, there's really a way. Sacrificing some is nothing. The Supreme Commander's expression also changed slightly as he immediately spoke. Let's wait for the news. Commander Duan revealed a trace of a smile on his face as he spoke indifferently. Everyone's breathing became slightly hurried as their gazes stared fixedly at the old man from the God Pet Pavilion. Their faces were filled with anticipation. Seconds and minutes passed by. News has arrived. Commander Duan, the other party has agreed. The other party said that if it's true, they are willing to send the godly monarch to help us tide over this crisis. After a full hour of silence, the old man from the Pet God Pavilion spoke with an excited expression. Good, ha ha ha. Commander Duan was also filled with joy and could not help but laugh out loud. We found support. Who's coming to support us? Commander Duan, who's coming to support us? At this moment, the more than 2,000 experts around him were also looking at him with excitement. Their eyes were filled with eagerness. Everyone should be clear about the strength of the Heaven Beast Corporation that we are seeking help from. Commander Duan scanned his surroundings and didn't hide anything. This matter was originally a plot against Wuxia. The Heaven Beast Corporation? Why would the Heaven Beast Corporation help us? We have no connection with them at all. The Supreme Commander frowned and asked in puzzlement. The rest of them were also astonished. We have no connection with them in the natural selection continent, and they wouldn't help us for no reason. However, we have something here in the Tianzi continent that can tempt the entire Heaven Beast Corporation. Commander Duan revealed a faint smile. What is it? At this time, Commander Duan, please speak quickly. A general couldn't help but urge. An array formation. An array formation that can trap eternal God Lord powerhouses. If the Heaven Beast Corporation can obtain this array formation, they are willing to send immortal God Kings to assist. Commander Duan said, Oh, our mysterious sky territory doesn't have such an array formation. Commander Xian immediately frowned and said when he heard his words, the array formation of the Heavenly Lake continent naturally depended on the mysterious sky territory. I know that the mysterious sky territory doesn't have such an array formation, but General Wang does. The reason why he can capture so many battle pets is because of this array formation. This point our Sky City can be 100% sure. Commander Duan said coldly. Oh, you mean to ask General Wang to hand over this formation? I don't agree on this point. Commander Xian frowned and immediately refused. We have all witnessed General Wang's meritorious service just now. He is not from our Tianzi continent to begin with, and he could fight for our Tianzi continent. Now he wants to burn the bridge after crossing the river? Such a despicable act. Our mysterious sky territory can't do it. General Xianjin also rejected with a cold expression. Now it is not a matter of despicable acts. It is the life and death of the entire human race in the Tianzi continent. Someone has to be sacrificed. It is just as well that General Wang is not from our Tianzi continent. What? When it comes to the life and death of our Tianzi continent, do you still care about such a little act? Also, we are not taking General Wang's life. We just want some things. There is no loss for him. Commander Duan coldly retorted when he heard Commander Xian's words. As long as we can save the Tianzi continent, we have to do it by hook or by crook. This time, even if we really want General Wang's life, we have to do it. I support Commander Duan. Over at the northern region Sword Master immediately said, That's right. Is a formation more important? Or is the life of the entire Tianzi continent more important? So what if we burn the bridge after crossing the river and save the hundreds of billions of people of our Tianzi continent? The experts of Sky City also spoke up one after another. Chapter 2397. 2397, 2397 Dragon King. Godly King. 1. Commander Duan of Sky City's plan was to get General Wang to hand over the array formation that could trap the Eternal God Lord in exchange for the support of the Heaven Beast Corporation. Many people did not have any objections. On the contrary, this was the best choice for the Heaven Lake continent. It was just a single array formation. Many people from the Sword Domain and the Federation were in favor of it. However, many people from the Xian Heaven Domain and the Land of Combat Arts frowned. Their expressions were ugly. Needless to say, the relationship between Wang Xian and the Xian Heaven Domain. Needless to say, the relationship between Wang Xian and the Land of Combat Arts was unbeatable. Unbeatable combat arts was the future of their aristocratic families of combat arts. Although this plan was a better one, they didn't agree with it very much. General Wang is a hero of our Tianzi continent after all. Without him, we might not have been able to last until now. Such behavior is a bit too much. Our invincible battle technique in the land of battle techniques has been accepted as a disciple by the Overlord sect leader. We can try to ask for the Overlord sect's support. The clan elder of the land of battle techniques took 2 steps forward and said indifferently, Commander Duan frowned slightly when he heard his words and saw the clan elder of the War Strategy land walking out. Elder of the War Strategy land, we don't have much time left. Are you sure that the Overlord sect will come to support us? Commander Duan immediately asked. Elder of the War Strategy land, it would be even better if the Overlord sect could help us. The Supreme Commander also said at this moment. Currently, we haven't contacted Invincible. We're not too sure. The Elder of Battle Tactics clan shook his head slightly. In fact, they couldn't contact Invincible Battle Tactics during this period of time. Invincible Battle Tactics had also told his parents not long ago that his master had asked him to go into seclusion. Perhaps if they were given some time, they could contact the other members of Overlord clan and inform Invincible Battle Tactics. But now the time was too short. They only had a little more than a day. Moreover, being able to contact them was one thing, but whether the Overlord sect agreed or not was another matter. Right now, we don't have so much time to continue waiting. If everyone doesn't have any other methods, then do as I say. The corners of Commander Duan's mouth curled up slightly as he made a faint decision. The Supreme Commander's expression changed as he slowly sat down. He wasn't inclined to let General Wang exchange the formation for reinforcements, but was there a better method now? If there wasn't, as the Supreme Commander of humanity, he still had these 100 billion people behind him. He had to agree to this method. Buzz! Right at this moment, a halo in front of him trembled, and a phantom appeared in the room. Upon seeing this phantom, everyone's expression changed, immediately revealing a respectful expression. Greetings, Sky God Emperor. All the experts hurriedly bowed. The situation in the depths of the ocean is critical. Xian Tianzi God Emperor is fighting 4 undying God King sea monsters alone, and the 3 of us are fighting 1 each. We have no time to care about the wall of protection. The moment the virtual image appeared, he immediately spoke up. As the virtual image spoke, it was fluctuating continuously, as if it could disappear at any moment. Celestial King, we have a way to get the Celestial King of the Heaven Beast Corporation to come over and assist us. We can get that Wang Xian to hand over the array formation that trapped the Eternal God Lord. The Heaven Beast Corporation has also agreed to it. Commander Duan immediately spoke up. Oh, all right. Get that Wang Xian to hand over the array formation immediately. We will keep a portion for ourselves. If he does not agree, we will kill him directly. The Sky Celestial King had some understanding of Wang Xian's matter. When he heard the report from his subordinates, He did not hesitate at all, and immediately gave the order. Yes. Commander Duan immediately replied. Pung. As soon as he finished his words, the phantom exploded. Clearly, the Sky Celestial King was in a situation where he could not even control a single phantom. Damn it! There are actually 7 immortal King Sea monsters working together. Where is that Wang Xian now? Why isn't he here? Immediately capture that Wang Xian and get him to hand over that array formation. Otherwise, our Tianzhe continent will really be finished. The phantom of the Celestial King in the sky exploded. Many experts shouted with anxious faces. 7 immortal King Sea monsters actually attacked humans at the same time. This was the largest number of immortal King Sea monsters in history. At the same time, everyone was extremely shocked that Xian Tianzi could fight 4 against 1. Everyone, General Wang is a member of our mysterious sky territory. He has a good relationship with our patriarch. Not everyone can touch him. When Xian Jinsho heard the surrounding words, he immediately said with a cold expression, General of the mysterious sky territory, do you still want to protect General Wang at a time like this? Lord Xian Tianzi was attacked by 4 undying godly monarch sea monsters at the same time. A general of the sword territory immediately said, regarding the array formation, our people of the mysterious sky territory will speak to General Wang. Commander Xian said coldly, as he swept his gaze across everyone. Does anyone have any objections? The experts from the other factions opened their mouths slightly, but did not say a word. After all, Sky Godly Monarch had said that Xian Tianzi was fighting 4 against 1. This was also a faction of the mysterious sky territory. We naturally have no problems with it. But General Wang is not someone from our Heavenly Lake continent after all. Commander Duan said indifferently. As long as you do not attack him, he will naturally fight alongside our Heavenly Lake continent. Commander Xian said coldly, as he looked at the Mystic Guardian General and the others. Let's go. With that said, he flew straight out in the direction of Area 51. Humph. Commander Duan snorted coldly, as he grabbed with his palm. Let's follow him. The other party is not from the Tianzhe continent. We can't let him escape. If the other party really wants to escape. He did not speak, but everyone understood what he meant. The Tianzhe continent is on the brink of life and death. Even if some people are sacrificed, Xian Tianzi Divine King will not say anything. Sword Domain Sword Master echoed as he swept his gaze across the surrounding experts. Other than the experts from the Combat Techniques aristocratic clan, who did not nod their heads, the other experts also agreed. Buzz buzz buzz. What are we experts going to do? Have we found a way to survive? More than 2,000 experts flew out from the main command room. Everyone on the protective wall looked over with faces full of hope. Prime Minister Gui, where's General Wang? At District 51, Commander Xian, and the rest were the first to arrive. They scanned their surroundings and asked with a frown. Commander Xian, our Dragon King is still in the ocean. What's the matter? Prime Minister Gui looked at them and saw a group of experts flying over from behind. He asked in puzzlement, I have some matters to discuss with General Wang. Can you call him General Wang? Commander Xian sighed and said, Sure. Prime Minister Gui's eyes flickered. He immediately sent a voice transmission to Wang Xian. At this moment, at the location of Area 57, Wang Xian was killing sea monsters at a rapid speed. When he heard Prime Minister Gui's voice transmission, he was slightly stunned. What's going on? All the experts are looking for me? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. Without any hesitation, he flew toward District 51. Now Ao Xingmu had gathered all the resources to upgrade. Furthermore, there were still many resources that could help the members of the Dragon Palace to improve tremendously. Chapter 2398 2398 2398 Dragon King, Godly King. 2. All the sea monsters around Area 51 have disappeared. Are these sea monsters doing something else? It's very possible. If all the powerful sea monsters gathered in one place to attack, the time taken to block the formation would be much shorter. When more than 2,000 experts arrived at Area 51, they frowned when they saw that the surroundings were somewhat calm. The sudden appearance of a group of powerful sea monsters from the bottom of the sea was completely out of their expectations. It was not impossible for the sea monsters to gather and attack together. Once the sea monsters gathered together, the protective formation might not even be able to last for a day. Reinforcements must arrive within 10 hours, or else we will be in big trouble. The experts looked at each other worriedly. Where did General Wang go? An expert couldn't help but ask. Our Dragon King will be here soon. Prime Minister Gui glanced at that expert and said indifferently, Commander Duan, we must make preparations first. We can't let him escape directly. At the front, the Sword Master of the Sword Domain, the Supreme Commander, the Elders of the Land of Combat Arts, Commander Xian, Commander Duan, and the others were at the front. The Sword Domain Sword Master glanced at Commander Duan and transmitted his voice indifferently. Don't worry. Commander Duan moved his palm confidently. A ring flashed and disappeared. The Sword Domain Sword Master smiled and nodded his head. Buzz. At this moment, Wang Xian's figure appeared. His gaze swept across everyone, and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Commander Xian, may I know why so many people have come to look for me? Wang Xian moved and arrived in front of Commander Xian and the rest. General Wang, there are indeed some matters. This, Buzz. Commander Xian revealed an embarrassed expression as he spoke. However, before he could finish his sentence, a confinement circle appeared above Wang Xian's head in an instant. It was emitting the light of confinement. Huh. Commander Xian's expression changed as he looked to the side coldly. Wang Xian also raised his eyebrows and looked at the confinement circle above his head. His eyes were sparkling as they landed on the commander of the city in the sky. General Wang, we have offended you. We have no choice but to do so. At this moment, the Sword Master of the Sword Domain gestured to the people behind him. In an instant, he appeared behind Wang Xian and completely surrounded him. 10 peak Master of God level experts and hundreds of Master of God level 8 and above experts were locked onto Wang Xian. City in the Sky Sword Domain, what are you guys trying to do? Commander Xian growled with a gloomy face. The soldiers of the Xian Heaven Domain also stared at them coldly. Commander Xian, let's talk about this. We are also doing this for the humans of the Tianzi continent. Furthermore, we didn't make a move. Commander Duan said with a smile. He looked at Wang Xian, and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Oh, just say what you have to say. Wang Xian smiled as he swept his gaze across the Sword Domain and the people from Sky City. Today, the Tianzi continent has encountered the greatest crisis in history. 7 immortal godly monarchs are fighting against 4 godly monarchs. Lord Xian Tianzi is fighting against 4 godly monarchs at the same time and is in danger. Now our land is about to be breached. Now we have to ask for reinforcements from other forces. And if we want to ask for reinforcements from other divine kings, we have to make some sacrifices. For the sake of the hundreds of billions of people in the Tianzi continent, what's a little sacrifice? Of course, General Wang, you don't have to worry. We are not asking you to sacrifice yourself, but we want an array formation in your hands. You should be clear about this array formation, General Wang. Commander Duan said with a smile. General Wang, for the sake of the entire human race in the Tianzi continent, please hand over the formation. We will naturally be grateful to you. The Sword Realm Sword Master echoed indifferently from the side. Hee, City in the Sky. You guys are really willing to do anything to obtain this formation. I have already killed 2 peak stage godly state experts in your city in the sky. Why are you still thinking about this formation now? Wang Xian looked at Commander Duan and said with a smile. What? There's such a thing. When the surrounding experts heard Wang Xian's words, they were stunned. However, when they recalled what happened not long ago, some of the experts had some guesses in their hearts. General Wang, this time, the formation is not for us, but for the Heaven Beast Corporation. After the formation is given to them, The Heaven Beast Corporation is willing to send the immortal godly king to support us. I hope General Wang can make a sacrifice to save our Tianzi continent. Everyone in the Tianzi continent will be grateful to you. Commander Duan stared at Wang Xian with a cold expression and said, Ihi, why don't you guys sacrifice yourselves then? I'm not from the Tianzi continent. It's enough for me to do this. Wang Xian was still smiling as he spoke to him. General Wang, please don't force us. If saving the Tianzi continent requires us to sacrifice ourselves, we will definitely not frown. However, the one who can save the Tianzi continent now is the formation in General Wang's hands. If General Wang doesn't agree, we will do something overboard for the sake of the entire Tianzi continent. However, all of this is for the sake of the humans of the Tianzi continent. Commander Duan raised his head slightly and said coldly, Commander Duan is right. General Wang, it's just a formation. Our Tianzi continent will give you some compensation. The Swordmaster of the Sword Domain chimed in from the side. General Wang, there's nothing we can do. A group of people from the Sword Domain and the city in the sky stared at Wang Xian and followed suit. Ha ha ha, Commander Duan sure knows how to talk. If you are willing to sacrifice yourself to save the Tianzi continent and this Sword Master from the Sword Domain, I will give you a chance to commit suicide immediately. I will take out the formation immediately. Wang Xian's gaze swept across them as he laughed out loud. Ha! Wang Xian's words stunned Commander Duan and the Sword Master from the Sword Domain. Their expressions changed slightly. The rest of the experts were stunned as well. They never expected Wang Xian to say such words. What? I'm not from your Tianzi continent. It's already good enough for me to help you guard it. Now that I've taken out a treasure that can save the Tianzi continent, you guys are willing to sacrifice yourself just now. In that case, you guys can sacrifice yourselves for the Tianzi continent. Wang Xian stared at the two of them with a mocking expression. That's fine. After all, General Wang has already made such a great contribution to the Tianzi continent. Commander Duan and the Sword Master have also agreed, killing two birds with one stone. When Commander Xian heard Wang Xian's suggestion, he naturally had no objections. Hehe, I have no objections either. After this calamity, Commander Duan and the Sword Master will be the great heroes of the entire human race in the Tianzi continent. The elders of the land of combat nodded in agreement. The Supreme Commander's expression changed when he saw this situation. He looked at Commander Duan and Sword Master. Chapter 2399. 2399, 2399 Dragon King. Godly King. 3. The atmosphere in Zone 51 of the Wall of Protection was a little strange. Commander Duan of Sky City, Sword Domain, and Sword Master said that if they could save the entire human race, they were willing to sacrifice themselves. However, now that General Wang said that they were committing suicide, I'll take out the array formation directly. It was completely putting Commander Duan and Sword Master on fire. Especially the experts from the Xian Heaven Domain, the place of battle techniques, who were staring at the two of them mockingly. You, Wang Xian, don't go overboard. Now, as long as you take out the formation, you will be able to save the Tianzi continent. You are deliberately trying to kill us. Commander Duan saw the gazes around him, and his expression changed drastically. He glared at Wang Xian coldly and shouted, General Wang, are you trying to kill us on purpose? The Swordmaster was also embarrassed as he stared at Wang Xian with a sinister look. What? Didn't you say that you are willing to sacrifice yourselves for the sake of the Tianzi continent? You should sacrifice yourselves now. In the future, the entire Tianzi continent will know that you are the heroes of mankind, and will be remembered forever. Wang Xian looked at the two of them indifferently, and said with a smile, General Wang, don't go overboard. You are deliberately trying to kill our Sword Master. Hand over the formation immediately. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. That's right. The Sky God King has also said that if you don't take it out and kill us directly, I advise you to hand it over sensibly. The generals and experts from the Sword Domain and the city in the sky immediately took a step forward and stared at Wang Xian coldly. Humph. The sword master's face was ice cold. With a move of his arm, a sharp sword appeared in his hand. Waves of killing intent condensed from his body. Sky City Sword Domain, what are you guys trying to do? Commander Xian shouted with an ice-cold face. The atmosphere instantly froze. What happened? From the surrounding positions, the sergeants looked over in shock. There were also many experts looking over in shock. Everyone, let's have a good talk. The Supreme Commander said helplessly as he stretched out his hand. Sword Domain. Wang Xian took a glance at the Sword Master of the Sword Domain. A hint of killing intent flashed in his eyes. Commander Xian and the Battle Tactics clan don't interfere. I have already stated the conditions. I would like to see who would disagree. I would like to see if you have the right to force me to hand over the formation. Wang Xian then gestured to the experts from the Xian Heaven Domain and the Land of Martial Arts. He stared at the Sword Domain and the people from the city in the sky and said coldly, "Ha ha ha, if you refuse a toast, you will be forced to drink a forfeit. Wang Xian, I think you are courting death. All right. Then we will fulfill your wish. Experts from the city in the sky, get ready." Commander Duan laughed out loud when he heard his words. His face was cold as he shouted out loud. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as he finished his words, a weapon appeared in the hands of all the experts of Sky City. They stared at Wang Xian with murderous intent. All the experts of the Sword Domain, get ready. I'd like to see how a Dragon Palace army is qualified to go against us. The Sword Master growled with a murderous look on his face. It's the Sword Master. All the experts shouted and held their sharp swords in their hands. There were more than 1,000 experts above rank 8 God Lords in the Sword Domain and Sky City. Among them, there were 30 peak Eternal God Lords. Such experts could last 5 or 6 minutes in front of the God King. Say this, General Wang. The Supreme Commander had a helpless look on his face when he saw this scene. Although he was the Supreme Commander of the Federation, he could not waver in the decisions and actions of the Sword Domain and the city in the sky. To put it bluntly, the other party could totally ignore him. Especially now that even Wang Xian had said so, he was even less qualified to give orders. Brother Wang. Chief Xian looked at Wang Xian with some worry and shouted. Very good. The city in the sky of the Sword Domain is courting death. Wang Xian shook his head at Chief Xian and the rest. His gaze swept across the Sword Domain and everyone in the city in the sky. Gradually, a killing intent surged from his body. Ah, are we courting death? Then you have the right to kill us too. Wang Xian, I advise you to hand over the formation immediately so that you won't suffer. But if you don't want to hand it over, we will make you talk. Commander Duan of the city in the sky laughed out loud as he stared at Wang Xian with disdain. Why would they be afraid of a Wang Xian when they had 30 peak stage Divine Lord experts? Even if they were to include his entire Dragon Palace army, they wouldn't put him in their eyes at all. You don't know what's good for you. The Sword Master spat out these 4 words coldly as well. This, General Wang, is a little impulsive. There are so many experts in the Sword Domain and the city in the sky. Even if the entire Dragon Palace army were to join forces, they would not be a match for them. What is General Wang thinking? This might be troublesome. When the experts from the Xian Heaven Domain, the Land of Combat Arts, and even the Federation saw this scene, they frowned. They did not understand why Wang Xian insisted on fighting them. This was a battle on a completely different level. There were too many experts from the city in the sky and the Sword Domain. Even if the Dragon Palace army joined in, they wouldn't be a match for them. Very good. Wang Xian looked at everyone from the 2 major forces and ignored the discussions around him. A smile appeared on his face. You're courting death. I'll grant you your wish. As he spoke, his body trembled slightly. A vast and mighty aura charged towards the surroundings. Crack, crack, crack. In an instant, resplendent 7-colored fragments shot out from his body. The fragments surrounded the surroundings at a terrifying speed. In less than a second, Everything within a radius of more than 10,000 kilometers was completely surrounded by the seven-colored fragments. A seven-colored space appeared. At this moment, Wang Xian's figure was slowly floating in the void. He stared coldly at all the experts from the city in the sky and the sword domain who were surrounding him. At this moment, everyone could feel a terrifying pressure. Cough, cough, cough. At this moment, everyone was stunned. They stared blankly at the vast figure floating in the sky and the dense physical laws around them. All the experts from the sword domain held their longswords in a daze. At this moment, their longswords were trembling. All the experts in the city in the sky trembled. Some of them were stunned and couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. What was going on? What the hell was going on? This, General Wang. This is the power of the immortal God King. This is the immortal God King's law. Commander Xian opened his mouth slightly. His face was also filled with disbelief. They looked at the sealed space around them in disbelief. They looked at the high and mighty Wang Xian. That was the power of the godly king. Godly king, General Wang is the godly king. He is actually the immortal godly king. At this moment, the highest commander could not help but exclaim. His face was also filled with disbelief. Who would have thought that General Wang was actually the immortal godly king? Dragon King God King. Chapter 2400. 2400 Dragon Kings. Godly Kings. 4. What happened in Area 51? How could there be substantial laws? Hiss, what the hell is going on? All the experts of our Tianza continent have come here. What happened? Outside the protective wall, when everyone saw the rainbow-colored law space rising up, it also attracted everyone's attention. The surrounding areas looked at the terrifying laws, and their pupils constricted. Many eternal god lords hesitated for a moment, then quickly flew over. Not long ago, they had heard angry shouts from this side. Now that such a terrifying law domain had risen up, many people on the wall of protection were astonished. No, this is impossible. This is an illusion array. This is an illusion array. Just as the many warriors on the wall were flying over to Area 51, within the law space, Commander Duan looked around in disbelief and roared loudly. That's right. How can an undying god emperor break through so easily? He's obviously a pinnacle god lord. Illusion. Everything is an illusion. Sword Domain Master roared with bloodshot eyes. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. How could they believe it? Their group was going against an undying. Even though their Sky City and Sword Domain combined were strong, against an undying, they were nothing. Their provocation just now was no different from sending themselves to their deaths. All of you are unfortunate. I have just advanced to the Immortal King level. Therefore, I will use all of you to announce my advancement. Wang Xian swept his gaze across them. An incomparably terrifying dragon's might engulfed them. In an instant, the faces of all the level 8 masters of the Sword Domain and Sky City, who were targeted, instantly turned pale. Large mouthfuls of blood were spat out from their mouths. Their faces were filled with horror and endless despair. They looked up at Wang Xian's vast body in horror. No, don't kill us. Commander, save us. Sword Master, save us. Terrified cries for help rang out from their mouths one after another. Stop immediately. General Wang, our Sky Celestial King, has stepped into the Celestial King realm for hundreds of thousands of years. If you dare to kill our Sky City's masters, our Celestial King will not let you off. Stop, Dragon King. Let's talk things out. For the sake of the Sword Celestial King, give us a chance. Commander Duan and the Sword Master of Sky City were horrified. They immediately roared loudly. You brought this on yourself. Wang Xian's gaze swept past them. His eyes were filled with disdain. Bang, bang, bang. In the next moment, all the Eternal Lord level 8 experts died instantly. At the same time, Wang Xian moved his arm. One by one, the seemingly corporeal law turned into a huge dragon claw and attacked all of them directly. Oh no! When everyone in the city in the sky and the Sword Domain saw Wang Xian's murderous intent, their faces turned pale instantly. Run, run, run. Commander Duan of the city in the sky shouted with a face full of horror. Wang Wang. Some people wanted to directly flee back to their eternal god countries, but the God King law barriers were not something they could break. All the experts could not even sense their eternal god countries. Ka ka ka, pung pung pung. At this time, the dragon claws attacked over 100 peak god lord rank 9 god lord experts. Don't. Some level 9 god lords felt the destructive power coming from the dragon claw and shouted in fear. Bang! 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 The dragon claw swept over, and even the level 9 eternal god lord was instantly killed by the terrifying power, leaving only a corpse. Commander, save us. We are the heroes of the humans of the Tianzi continent. A general of the sword domain couldn't help but beg the supreme commander for mercy. The supreme commander opened his mouth and showed a hesitant expression. General Wang, Sir Godly King they. The supreme commander opened his mouth and shouted, Our godly king's disgraceful. Wang Xian glanced at him and said indifferently. The supreme commander's expression changed slightly, and he shook his head. Dragon King, our godly kings of sword and sky, are veteran godly kings who have advanced for hundreds of thousands of years. If you destroy all of us today, Sir Godly King will definitely not let you off. You can't afford to offend 2 veteran godly monarchs. Dragon King, it's our fault today. Let us off. The Swordmaster's expression changed drastically as he roared loudly. Hee, now you know that I'll let you off. Everyone in Sky City must die. Your sword domain is also courting death. Wang Xian's face was filled with a sinister look as he waved his dragon claws and continued to attack. The people from the city in the sky, even if they didn't come to find trouble with him today, he would still kill them. As for the people from the sword domain, they were simply courting death. Just now, they had arrogantly said that they wanted to kill him, and they even dared to use their sharp swords to kill him. If they didn't die, who would? Resist and resist. There are so many of us. He has just advanced to the King God realm. It's not like he's invincible. Commander Duan of Sky City felt Wang Xian's determination to kill him. He roared with a crazed look on his face. Attack! If he dares to kill us, we, the godly monarch of swords, will avenge us. The Swordmaster's face was also filled with embarrassment. His eyes were bloodshot as he roared. Since the other party did not let them off, they could only give it their all. It was not impossible for them to fight against an expert who had just advanced to the godly monarch level with their strength. Boom! 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 In an instant, waves of terrifying sword light and terrifying light energy attacked Wang Xian's dragon claw. Gulp! Are they a match for the God King? A general of the Federation gulped and looked at the scene in front of him with a shocked expression. The sword domain, and all the top-tier combat powers of Sky City, had joined forces to fight against a newly advanced Undying God King. The Undying Emperor was something they could fight against. Even if General Wang has just advanced to Undying Emperor, he's still not someone they can fight against. This time, the people from Sky City and the Sword Domain are courting death. Commander Xian said coldly, They're just courting death. If we had a good discussion, there wouldn't be any problems. They had to use force. What's more, even if we don't have any solutions, and General Wang has also advanced to the Eternal God Lord level, he alone can help us defend the wall. The elder of the fighting clan beside him also said indifferently, That's right. With General Wang around, we can defend the front line of the natural selection continent without requesting any help. The Supreme Commander also sighed slightly. He looked forward and didn't know whether he was rejoicing or furious. At this time, the Dragon King was determined to kill all the opponents. Who dared to stop him? Who had the strength to stop him? The masters of the city in the sky were finished. So were all the masters of the sword domain. Chapter 2401 2401 2401 Dragon King. Godly King. 5. Boom. 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 In the nomological space of Area 51, a series of rumbling sounds could be heard. In the surroundings, the Xian Heaven Domain, the land of battle techniques, and the experts from the Federation were scattered around. They were looking at the battle in front of them with shock and awe. It was more like a group of ants challenging the godly king, who was standing high above them. Wang Xian hovered in the air and waved his palm slightly. Below him, a huge law palm was attacking the experts from the famous sword domain and the city in the sky. 30 experts at the peak of the godly monarch tried their best to resist, but they couldn't do anything in front of Wang Xian. Their attacks landed in front of Wang Xian and were directly blocked by the powerful law power, without causing any ripples. Our God King will avenge us. Dragon King, just you wait, just you wait. After killing over a dozen peak God Lord powerhouses, the experts from Sky City and the sword domain started to despair. They all let out unresigned roars. Especially the experts from the sword domain, they stared angrily at their sword master. It was all because of this fellow. If you don't stand out, how could we be killed? How could the sword domain provoke an immortal godly king powerhouse? They died with grievance. Hehe. I will kill him in the city in the sky. I will also kill the sword domain's sword god king. Wang Xian heard their roars, and his face was filled with a cold light. The sky god king wanted to kill him? Then let's see who would kill who. When the experts from the sword domain and the city in the sky heard Wang Xian's shameless words, their faces became even more desperate. It seemed that the other party was going to kill them completely. The experts from the Federation's Xian Heaven Domain and the land of battle techniques pretended that they didn't hear what he said. However, the few experts from the Xian Heaven Domain, who had some understanding of Wang Xian, were extremely shocked in their hearts. They remembered that back then, Wang Xian only had the combat strength of a level 8 Divine Lord. How long had it been since he became an immortal godly king? He was in existence on the same level as their Xian Tianzi godly king. Boom! At this moment, Wang Xian's palm slammed down heavily on the sword master and Commander Duan, suppressing them firmly on the ground. The two of them had lost all signs of life. They died in despair and unwillingness. Who would have thought that Wang Xian would suddenly advance to the immortal king realm? The heavens were going to kill them. When the rest of the people saw the last two swordmasters and Commander Duan being killed, and saw the more than 1,000 corpses on the ground, they took a deep breath. They looked at the figure hovering in the sky, and their faces were filled with awe. What's going on inside? Why did such a terrifying material law suddenly appear in Area 51? Is it a sea monster rushing over? Could it be that the experts of Sky City are looking for trouble with General Wang? At this moment, nearly 10 million people were gathered around the law space in Area 51, which had a circumference of more than 10,000 kilometers, and they were discussing with shocked faces. How can it be that our Sky City is causing trouble for General Wang? If our Sky City really wants to cause trouble for General Wang, we will be able to destroy General Wang and his army in less than 3 minutes. Some people from Sky City heard others guessing their actions and said directly with some displeasure. That might not be the case. Everyone knows how many peak stage God Lord sea monsters General Wang has led his disciples to destroy. An expert from the mysterious sky territory mocked coldly. Many people were very dissatisfied with the actions of the general from the 50th region of Sky City. Naturally, they also had some opinions about the entire Sky City. HMPH. Our Sky City will not kill someone who is not on the same level as us at this juncture. If you want to kill General Wang, you can kill him at any time after the calamity ends. The Sky City warrior heard it and said coldly, "The law space is disappearing. This space is about to disappear. What's going on in there?" Some people stared at the center of the law space. The law space slowly disappeared, and a vast silhouette appeared in everyone's sight. Seeing that silhouette, everyone couldn't help but feel a powerful pressure. Greetings, Dragon King. Congratulations, General, on advancing to the Undying God King realm. The entire space slowly appeared in everyone's sight, but at this time, the highest commander's voice suddenly sounded. Greetings, Dragon King. Congratulations, General, on advancing to the Undying God King realm. Following that, respectful voices sounded. The sudden voice caused everyone around to reveal shocked expressions. They looked over, and all the experts from the mysterious sky domain, battle techniques land, and the Federation half knelt on the ground and bowed. This, General Wang has advanced to the Undying Godly Monarch realm. My God, General Wang has become a godly monarch. Hiss, my God, General Wang has advanced to a godly monarch. Our Tianzhe continent has another godly monarch. Everyone widened their eyes, their faces filled with surprise and excitement. Look at the corpses on the ground. They are the corpses of all the experts from the Sky City and the Sword Domain. At this moment, a shocked exclamation came from an expert's mouth. He pointed at the ground and shouted in shock. What? Oh my God! It's the corpses of all the experts from the Sword Domain and the Sky City. Oh my God! What's going on? Everyone's bodies trembled violently. Those were experts from the Sword Domain and Sky City, and they were peak experts above the 8th level of a God Lord. These were the pillars of the entire Sword Domain and Sky City, and now, they were actually killed. The experts from the Sky City and the Sword Domain offended the Dragon King, and were killed by the Dragon King. All the citizens of the Tianzhe continent immediately pay their respects to the Dragon King. At this moment, the Supreme Commander swept his gaze across everyone around him, and said in a deep voice, "Now the safety of the entire wall of protection, and the entire Tianzhe continent, depended on Wang Xian. Naturally, he had to curry favor with him at this moment. He did not want the Dragon King to abandon them, and leave at this moment. After all, they were here to ask the Dragon King to hand over that powerful array formation. Greetings, Dragon King. Greetings, Dragon King. Everyone from the Federation, the people from the Mystic Heaven Domain, and the Land of Combat Techniques, were the first to react. They immediately half knelt on the ground and shouted respectfully. A godly monarch was worthy of everyone's great respect. Furthermore, this godly monarch might be their last hope. No, you actually dared to kill people from our Sky City. Our Sky Godly Monarch will not let you off." The powerhouse who said that the Sky City wanted to kill General Wang with ease, just a moment ago could not help but retreat when he saw the current scene. He roared angrily in a low voice. The eyes of many other powerhouses from the Sky City and the Sword Domain flickered as their expressions kept changing. Humph! When Wang Xian saw the powerhouse from the Sky City, disdain appeared on his face. He grunted softly. At the same time, waves of terrifying pressure pressed down on all the experts from the city and the sky. In an instant, thousands of corpses fell to the ground. Chapter 2402. 2402-2402 Stuttgart. Bang bang bang. The sound of bodies colliding with the ground seemed to crash into everyone's ears. This sound directly smashed into the hearts of everyone in Sky City and the Sword Domain. Especially the people of Sky City, when they saw their experts instantly killed, their faces were filled with paleness and cold sweat. They looked at this scene in horror and felt their scalps go numb. That General King, Godly King, and Dragon King had actually killed so many of their experts in an instant. Those godly master experts didn't even have the ability to resist, and were instantly killed. This terrifying strength made people despair. Greetings, Dragon King. Greetings, Dragon King. The bodies of the people from the Sword Domain and Sky City trembled, as they hurriedly knelt on the ground and shouted loudly. They lowered their heads and propped their hands on the ground, as if they were prostrating. Their faces were filled with horror. Wang Xian's gaze swept across them. His face was filled with indifference. I will clear the sea monsters in front of the wall of protection. The catastrophe this time should be over very soon. He landed on the ground and said to the Supreme Commander and the rest. All right. Thank you, General Wang, for your help. The Supreme Commander said to Wang Xian excitedly. The rest of the people were extremely excited when they heard what Wang Xian said. They were really afraid that Wang Xian would leave immediately, because of the matter just now. Now, as long as Wang Xian was willing to help, It would be easy for a godly king to guard this place and clean up the sea monsters here at the protective wall. Thank you for your help, General Wang. Our Tianzi continent is eternally grateful. The rest of the experts also quickly cupped their hands to express their gratitude. No need. Wang Xian shook his head and swept his gaze around. With a wave of his arm, he collected all the corpses. There were 30 peak stage Eternal Masters, and more than 1,000 Eternal Masters above level 8. There were also a few thousand Eternal Masters. Just these corpses were enough for the Dragon Palace to increase the combat strength of 3 immortal godly monarchs. Adding Ao Xingmuan himself, that was the combat strength of 4 immortal godly monarchs. This was not counting the sea monsters in front of the wall of protection. If that was included, the strength of the Dragon Palace would undergo a terrifying qualitative change. Perhaps by then, the strength of the Dragon Palace could rival the entire Tianzi continent. With this thought in mind, Wang Xian moved his body and immediately came to the top of the city wall in Area 51. All members of the Dragon Palace returned to the Dragon Palace to upgrade. Ao Yao, you guys should return as well. Wang Xian ordered the members of the Dragon Palace. It's the Dragon King. All the members of the Dragon Palace nodded their heads. Supreme Commander, send someone to help me keep an eye on the sea monsters in front of the wall of protection. If they show signs of escaping, let me know. Wang Xian said to the Supreme Commander. It's the Dragon King. The Supreme Commander immediately nodded his head. Buzz. Wang Xian nodded his head and flew towards Area 58 in a flash. He had already cleared the sea monsters here. So after General Wang advanced to the Godly King level, he started to clear the sea monsters in the surroundings. No wonder all the sea monsters in Area 51 and the surrounding areas have disappeared. When everyone saw Wang Xian's back disappearing, one of the generals could not help but look at the ocean on the left. At this moment, the ocean on the left was a few million kilometers away. It was already calm, and there was not a single sea monster. Initially, they were speculating if the sea monsters were up to something. Now, it seemed that the sea monsters here had been eliminated. That's right. We are still researching how to request for reinforcements. General Wang, who is in the ocean, should be a little dumbfounded if he knew about this. I'm afraid that after a few more hours of discussion, the sea monsters have already been cleared. Xianchen said mockingly. That's true. However, with General Wang here, this disaster will pass without any accidents. A general said. He couldn't help but let out a huge breath. That's right, this disaster. We'll be able to pass it very quickly. The rest of the group also got excited, smiling. General Wang has advanced to Undying, defending the wall of protection for our Tianzi continent, helping us get through this disaster. Congratulations to our Tianzi continent, congratulations to General Wang. The highest commander's body moved, floating in the air, he roared loudly. His voice resounded throughout the wall of protection. When the rest of the people who hadn't arrived heard his words, they were all stunned. They couldn't help but get excited. General Wang has actually broken through to the Undying Emperor realm. He's too powerful, haha, our Tianzi continent is saved. He's about to win. General Wang was very powerful in the beginning. He killed many pinnacle godlord sea monsters. Now he's actually broken through to the Undying Emperor realm. Long live! Congratulations, General Wang. At the same time, for our Tianzi continent, we have a huge chance of surviving this disaster. According to the latest news, General Wang is killing sea monsters at a rapid pace. Upon hearing the voice of the highest commander, everyone's faces revealed an extremely excited look. At the same time, some news was also transmitted over. Everyone's faces revealed an extremely excited look. While everyone was cheering on the wall of protection, Wang Xian was killing sea monsters at a rapid pace at the bottom of the sea. In order to prevent him from killing too many sea monsters and preventing them from escaping, Wang Xian had unleashed his full strength. He was killing sea monsters one by one at a terrifying speed. There were 500 to 600 level 8 Divine Lord level 8 devouring netherworld sea monsters in a region. After clearing more than a dozen regions, there were around 50 to 60 of them. Among them, there were more than 20 sea monsters at the peak of the Eternal Divine Lord level. A large number of sea monsters' corpses entered the Dragon Palace. With the addition of the corpses from the beginning, the dragon blood in the dragon transformation pool was almost full. The dragon transformation pool that was hundreds of kilometers long was almost full. What kind of concept was this? One by one, the members of the Dragon Palace entered the dragon transformation pool. The improvement of their realms was as simple as drinking cold water. Now, as long as Wuxia wanted to, all 150,000 to 60,000 members of the Dragon Palace could step into the Eternal Divine Lord level. However, the main focus of the Dragon Palace was to improve their high-end combat strength. After this, the strength of the Dragon Palace can crush any force in the Tianzi continent. In just 15 minutes, Wuxia cleared out all the areas beyond Area 51. His body moved, and he teleported rapidly towards Area 50. He did not hide anything. Facing the hundreds of millions of sea monsters in front of him, he floated directly on the surface of the sea. Boom, boom, boom. Waves of substantial laws sealed off an area of more than 10,000 kilometers. In the entire area, all the sea monsters were captured in one go. More than 10,000 kilometers. Wuxia did not even need a minute. In less than a minute, he immediately changed to another place. In front of each region, everyone saw the terrifying scene of Wuxia. Their faces were filled with shock and awe. This was the strength of the immortal God King, and this was the strength of General Wang. One person facing billions of sea monsters. Chapter 2403. 2403-2403 Stuttgart. News of victory. The front lines have won a huge victory. General Wang has advanced to Undying Emperor level. He alone stands guard over the Wall of Protection, killing trillions of sea monsters. The Wall of Protection has won. General Wang has become Undying Emperor. He alone stands guard. Congratulations to humanity. Victory, victory, ha ha ha. This time it's all thanks to General Wang. Not long ago before he advanced, he had killed many pinnacle god-level sea monsters. This victory is all thanks to General Wang. The battle situation at the Wall of Protection, under the orders of the highest commander, was transmitted to the AI. When everyone saw the news on the AI, their faces were filled with excitement. The worry and fear of the entire Tianzi continent had finally been released. News of victory. For General Wang to level up to the Undying Emperor level. For him to guard the entire Wall of Protection. All the people of Tianzi continent were filled with gratitude and excitement. General Wang was a hero of humanity. He's too strong. This time it's all thanks to General Wang. General Wang wasn't originally from Tianzi continent. To be able to defend our Tianzi continent, he's our benefactor and hero. Right, the people of Sky City and Sword Domain still wanted to suppress General Wang and get help from an array. Now that they've been killed, they deserve it. In front of the Wall of Protection, everyone looked at the majestic figure on the sea and sighed with respect. The entire Wall of Protection was filled with excitement and joy. Only the people from the Sky City and the Sword Domain had ugly expressions. Now on the Wall of Protection, everyone knew that all the experts from the Sky City and the Sword Domain had been killed by General Wang. Especially Sky City, there weren't many Eternal God Lord level warriors left. The rest of the two forces had ugly expressions. They looked at the powerful figure in front of them, clenching their fists. Grandpa and Patriarch are dead, killed by the Dragon King. Almost all the warriors of Sky City have been killed. Now, we can only wait for the God King to return and kill him. When the godly monarch comes, we will definitely be able to kill him. He has just stepped into the undying godly monarch realm. Our godly monarch has already stepped into the realm for hundreds of thousands of years. In a corner of the Wall of Protection, dozens of youths stood there with clenched fists and faces filled with hatred. They were the most powerful group of children in Sky City. However, their grandpa, all of their reliance had been killed. Such hatred was irreconcilable. However, with their strength, they were like ants compared to the vast figure in front of them. They could only pray that the God King would return and kill him. They looked into the depths of the ocean, where vast energy blotted out the sky and the sun. The undying God King's battle was still going on. Our God King is fighting with the undying God King sea monster in the depths. He's here hunting ordinary sea monsters, and he even killed our Sky City and Sword Domain warriors. Now, why is he the hero of the entire human race? He killed so many of our Sky City and Sword Domain warriors. What right does he have to be called a hero? The youths were filled with unwillingness as they listened to the discussions around them, looking at the cheers of everyone in the AI. Tell them what happened here, hero. He killed so many of us. He doesn't have the right to be called a hero. That's right, they killed so many of us, yet they can still enjoy such glory and glory. It's not fair, it's not fair. The expressions of the youths were somewhat distorted. Very soon, the matter of General Wang killing a large number of Sky City and Sword Domain experts spread through the AI. This was nothing but a little surprise to the citizens of the Mystic Heaven Domain, the land of combat arts, and the Federation region. However, to many people from Sky City and the Sword Domain, they felt extremely furious. Why would a godly monarch kill all the experts in the Sky City's Sword Domain? Even if you were a hero of humanity, you could not kill their experts wantonly. Especially after learning that all the God Lords above rank 8, and even more than 80% of the God Lords in the Sky City had been killed, many people were extremely furious. The entire AI seemed to be boiling. Many of the upper echelons of the Federation noticed this too, but they ignored it. This news was just a small matter to the undying God King. It didn't affect the Dragon King at all. Only the Sky God King and Sword God King had any influence. However, this wasn't something the upper echelons of the Federation could consider. The 4 God Kings were all high and mighty. Now that there was one more God King, these matters had to be settled by the God Kings themselves. They had no right to interfere. In fact, the noise on the AI had no effect on the godly monarch at all. Roar, roar, roar. At this moment, a series of extremely terrifying roars sounded in the ocean. Roar, roar, roar. When this roar was heard, the countless sea monsters in the surrounding echoed the roar at the same time. The roar reverberated throughout the entire sky. Everyone immediately covered their ears and looked over in shock. This group of sea monsters is? Wang Xian saw the sea monsters roaring in the distance and was astonished. Roar, roar. At this moment, a roar came from the depths of the ocean in response. Roar, roar. The sea monsters looked at Wang Xian in horror. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, the sea monsters were disappearing. The sea monsters are escaping. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly as he flew forward quickly. At this moment, he completely gave up on the weak sea monsters and attacked the powerful sea monsters directly. He had already killed his way from the 50th region to the 20th region. The number of level 8 sea monsters that had died at his hands had reached tens of thousands. There were even hundreds of sea monsters at the peak of the Master God realm. We won! We won! The sea monsters have escaped. The sea monsters have escaped. Yes, we won! Ha ha ha! General Wang single-handedly killed hundreds of millions of sea monsters. They have escaped. Although Wang Xian was very disappointed by the escape of the sea monsters, the humans on the wall of protection were filled with excitement. This time, even the people from the Sword Domain and the city in the sky heaved a sigh of relief in their hearts. This war lasted for 11 days. More than 100 million humans had died. This was the lowest number among the 3 catastrophes. The reason why there were so few losses was naturally due to Wang Xian's advancement to the Immortal King realm. Today, the Dragon King was the only one who didn't even make a move after killing the sea monsters. Due to the existence of the Dragon King, the humans of the Tianzi continent had suffered a great loss. Forget it, let's just escape. I have gained enough this time. Wang Xian looked at the escaping Eternal Lord sea monsters and shook his head slightly. Some of the powerful sea monsters sensed that something was wrong and gave up on the invasion. Apparently, the immortal Lord Sea monsters had also responded. Even though the sea monsters had escaped, the rewards this time were enough. Chapter 2404. 2404 Dragon King. I will definitely kill you. We won. Ha ha ha, we won. Cheers rang out on the wall of protection. When Wang Xian heard the cheers, a smile appeared on his face. He flew over from the surface of the sea and landed on the wall of protection. His gaze swept across the humans of the Tianzi continent who were cheering and celebrating. Thank you, Dragon King, for helping our Tianzi continent to withstand this calamity. The highest commander and a group of experts flew over and thanked Wang Xian excitedly. Okay, Wang Xian nodded at them. Thank you, Dragon King, for saving our Tianzi continent. The people of the Tianzi continent who were gathered around shouted at Wang Xian respectfully. You guys handle the rest of the matters. I'll go to the depths of the ocean and take a look. Wang Xian looked at the highest commander and said, Yes, General Wang. Everyone immediately nodded their heads. Let's go and take a look. Senior Xian Tianzi is actually able to fight against 4 people by himself. He has a very deep foundation. If I were to master all the formations that I gave him previously, he should be able to fight against those of a higher level. Wang Xian thought to himself. With a move of his body, he flew towards the depths of the ocean. The terrifying energy there blotted out the sky and covered the sun. The entire sky was a battlefield. The closer he got, the more he could feel the destructive power in front of him. When a god-level master got close, just the aftershocks alone could destroy him. Wang Xian looked over. The Sky Celestial King, Sword Celestial King, and Battle Sphinx Elder were fighting against an immortal god-level sea monster respectively. The Sky Celestial King and Combat Master were at a disadvantage, while the Sword Celestial King was suppressing the other immortal king-level sea monster. Their strength could basically be seen at a glance. On the other side, Xian Tianzi was fighting against 4 immortal king-level sea monsters by himself without being at a disadvantage. One by one, the formations came in handy. Their strength was extremely terrifying. Senior Xian Tianzi, do you need help? Wang Xian asked Xian Tianzi with a smile on his face. The sudden appearance of Wang Xian's voice caused Xian Tianzi to be slightly shocked. A hint of shock could be seen in his eyes. Little brother Wang Xian, I was lucky enough to possess the combat strength of an immortal godly king. I took care of the wall of protection. As Xian Tianzi spoke, Wang Xian interrupted him and replied with a chuckle. What? Xian Tianzi could not help but exclaim in shock. He could not believe it. He already had the combat strength of an immortal king. How long had he been in the Tianzi continent? At that time, he only had the combat strength of an eternal god lord level 2. Now, he had the combat strength of an immortal king in less than half a year. How could he believe this? He was already shocked that Wang Xian had the combat strength of an immortal king. Gulp, good. Haha, little brother Wang Xian, come and help me. However, he quickly regained his senses and couldn't help but laugh out loud. After all, this person had a connection with that god lord. Even with such heaven-defying abilities, he could barely convince himself. Of course, it was just a self-hypnosis to convince himself. The god lord had this little brother Wang Xian, who was heaven-defying. If he didn't know more about the Celestial Emperor, he would have suspected that he was the reincarnation of the Celestial Emperor. Boom! Wang Xian moved his body, and an extremely powerful substantial law attacked one of the immortal Celestial King sea monsters. It was a sea monster with a pitch-black body and 18 claws. It was about 5,000 meters in size, and every swing of its claws emitted a powerful law-eroding force. Wang Xian's sudden attack made it panic. Roar. He could not help but roar at the 3 godly king sea monsters around him. Roar. The godly king sea monsters responded one after another. They trembled slightly and disappeared instantly. They escaped. The catastrophe this time is finally over. When Xian Tianzi saw the few godly king sea monsters escaping, he heaved a sigh of relief. It was already his limit to fend off 4 sea monsters of the same level. I didn't expect this. I really didn't expect little brother Wang Xian to break through to the immortal godly king realm. What a surprise! At this moment, Mo Hin's voice rang out from the side. A slightly chubby figure instantly appeared in front of Wang Xian. I was just lucky. Wang Xian looked at the old man and nodded with a smile on his face. He actually advanced to the immortal king realm. Not far away, the Sky King of Sky City looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. His expression kept changing. Sky City had a conflict with him. Now that he had advanced to the immortal king realm, it was definitely not a good thing for the entire Sky City. The Sky King stood there with a sullen face and did not go over. Beside him, Sword Domain Sword God King saw another Undying God King appearing in Tianzhe continent. He was just about to go over to greet him when he suddenly realized that there were urgent messages flashing. The catastrophe has ended. When he saw the message, more than 100 million soldiers of the Tianzhe continent have died towards the wall of protection. Every soldier is a hero of the entire Tianzhe continent. They are all heroes of humanity. On the fourth day of victory, so ignorant of the Tianzhe continent, another celestial ceremony has been born in our Tianzhe continent. We will mourn for our brothers and sisters who have died in battle. Mo Hin will hold a memorial ceremony for our celestial king, and the Sword God King suddenly leave. After the catastrophe had ended, the two figures meaningfully and revealed a smile. At this time, they might not be sure that all the experts under them had been killed by him. The entire continent would mourn. Once they found out, paying respects they would to their probably dead brothers and sisters, fight him to the death. It would be broadcasted. The city in the sky will definitely be destroyed. A group of God Kings would also appear, sending off the dead warriors. He will destroy them all. The memorial was thought to himself for Tianzhe continent. All the members of the Dragon Palace were digesting the resources after the Great War. General Dragon blood in the Dragon Pool of the Dragon Emperor realm. It was called Dragon King by his members of the Dragon Palace, and now he was also called Dragon King by the immortal Godly King realm. The Invincible Dragon King appeared out of nowhere to use all the resources to gather the Godly King experts. At the same time, Sky Dragon Palace, which had almost all the God Lord combat strength of 5 by the Dragon King. The rest would be used to increase the strength were also discussed by many people. The combat strength of on the Guardian God would need at least 20 familiar with this situation. In 2 days at most, while everyone thought that they were members of the Dragon Palace, they also felt some sympathy. At that time, after all, it would be time for him to compete with the city and Sky, and even the Sword Domain. For the sake of the entire Tianzhe wall of protection first. Although they had been killed by the Dragon King, it's all thanks to little brother Wang Xian. It could not be denied that the other party was not a hero. It would be difficult to defend the wall of protection. A lot in order to fend off the powerful sea monsters and said, "In the AI, I won't be going. The people from the city and the sky in the Sword Domain were the most furious. You guys don't have to worry about me. They said that the Dragon King was too cruel. In the Sword Domain, everything was for the humans. I can settle it myself. Why didn't they give them a chance first? Why did they have to kill all of them? If nothing goes wrong, I'll be back in 2 to 3 days." Voices in the AI. Wang Xian said there were even many experts with a smile on his face. And the Sword Domain was slightly stunned, who hoped that their godly king understand what he meant. The Dragon King. However, as soon as possible, Wang Xian waved his hand, the calamity had instantly. But many people guessed that there might be internal strife to the Dragon Palace. Then, which was also the boundless galaxy. And Sword Godly Monarch had roared that they wanted to kill the Dragon King. Mo Hin looked at Wang Xian, who had many people did not know that this was an internal strife. Dragon King, because the Dragon King definitely kill you. Did not belong to Dragon their heavenly lake continent. I will definitely kill you. Of course, at this moment, people still believed that the Dragon King was the hero of the entire heavenly lake continent. The end of the calamity this time was all thanks to the Dragon King. The artificial intelligence system was abuzz with discussion. At this moment, the Sky God King and the Sword God King were trembling in anger. This was especially so for the Sky God King. In a palace located at the highest altitude of 300,000 meters, the Sky God King was leaning on his throne. In the middle of the hall in front of him, there was an old man who was prostrating himself. Lord God King, currently we only have over 100 Divine Lord level experts in Sky City. Among them, the strongest one is an eternal divine lord at level 7. The groveling old man reported to the Sky God King while trembling. In this catastrophe, there were 3,000 to 4,000 god-level masters who died at the sea monster's place. However, There were 5,000 to 6,000 who died at the hands of Wang Xian. There were only more than 100 God-level masters in Sky City, who were under the control of Sky City. In other words, there were only more than 100 God-level masters under the control of the Sky God level. The strongest God Lord was at the 7th rank. It could be said to be extremely miserable. This was the place where a celestial emperor and more than 100,000 immortal godly monarchs had fallen. More than 100,000 celestial monarchs. Even now, Wang Xian still found it hard to imagine. Little friend Wang Xian, I really didn't expect you to be able to raise your strength to such a level in such a short period of time. The divine dragon inheritance is really heaven-defying. At this moment, the voice of the celestial emperor Tianzhi rang out in Wang Xian's mind. Don't worry, Senior Tianzhi. If they work together to set up the formation, coupled with the power of the 5 elements millstone itself, they could deal with a peak-stage godly monarch on their own. Not bad. If Wang Xian set up the formation on top, it could threaten the godly monarch. After setting up a black hole space-disturbing formation, Wang Xian did not set it up again, because he did not have control over many formations either. I'm here. I wonder if the people from the city in the sky and the sword domain will find trouble with me when I return this time. After flying for 3 hours, the Tianzi continent appeared in his line of sight. He looked at the gigantic continent with a smile on his face. This time, it was completely different from the first time he came to this world. Chapter 2408. 2408-2408 Memorial. Battle. 4. Aya Bing Bing, do you think Teacher Wang will still be our teacher in the future? That's right, Bing Bing. Teacher Wang is the Dragon King. Teacher Wang has actually become the 5th undying God King of our Tianzi continent. Who would have thought that we are actually the students of the Dragon King? Xiantian Academy Freshman Class 1. With the outbreak of the calamity, the Dragon King becoming an undying God King was a huge shock to the Freshman Class 1. Their teacher actually became the 5th undying emperor of the Tianzi continent. They would never even dream of it. The group of girls asked Yu Bingbing, Huang Jiajia, and the others. After all, from their point of view, Yu Bingbing, Huang Jia, Situyen Xiaolan, and the others were close to their teacher. They were half disciples. We don't know either, teacher becoming an undying emperor, he shouldn't be coming. Yu Bingbing and the rest shook their heads. There was both pride and disappointment on their faces. A godly king would continue to teach them. It was obviously impossible. Buzz. However, at this moment a group of figures suddenly appeared beside them. When the group of girls saw the figure that suddenly appeared, and Wang Xian, who was in the middle, everyone was slightly stunned. Teacher Wang. The group of girls hurriedly shouted at Wang Xian. Yes. Wang Xian nodded at them. His gaze swept across the group of girls, and a smile appeared on his face. This group of people could be considered as his students, but he was clearly not a qualified teacher. After this, it was unlikely that he would come here to teach them for a period of time every month. I'll stay here for 2 days. If there's anything you don't know, come and ask me. I'll make arrangements for the future. Wang Xian said to them and walked into the room. The group of girls looked at each other when they saw Wang Xian walking into the room after saying that. Looks like Teacher Wang won't be teaching us in the future. Don't think about it. Teacher Wang is the godly king. The godly king who is high up in the sky. It's already a gift from the heavens that we can become the students of the godly king. Did teacher just come back from outside? Will he go to the continent to pay respects to teacher tomorrow? All the girls said with some disappointment and doubt. However, they did not dare to enter and disturb him. After all, he was the immortal godly king, one of the strongest people on the continent. The hearts of the girls were still filled with respect. My young friend Wang Xian, However, not long after Wang Xian sat down, a voice rang in his ear. Senior Xiantianzi. Wang Xian looked at the figure that was slowly gathering in front of him and revealed a smile. Wang Xian, you're back so soon. Are you preparing this time? Xiantianzi looked at Wang Xian with a smile and said, I'm preparing to participate in the memorial ceremony tomorrow. Also, Senior Xiantianzi, I'm preparing to establish a faction in the underground sea. I'll announce it when the time comes. Wang Xian spoke directly to Xiantianzi. He had already seen some news from the AI earlier and knew about the furious roars of the two godly monarchs. He did not take it to heart. Xiantianzi was slightly stunned. He never expected Wang Xian to make such a move. Participate in the memorial ceremony? Establish a faction? Little friend Wang Xian, you have to be prepared. The godly monarch of the sky, Sword Godly Monarch, hates you to the bone. Xiantianzi said to Wang Xian with a serious expression. The two godly monarchs were holding a grudge. Even if it was difficult to kill Wang Xian, it was still a powerful threat. Especially when Wang Xian dared to establish a force, he was almost certain that the godly monarchs of the sky and sword would definitely attack him. If he were to establish a force at this time, 90% of it would be destroyed by the two godly monarchs. Senior Xiantianzi, don't worry. Since I dare to establish a faction, I'm not afraid of the sky and sword godly monarchs. I'll be attending the memorial ceremony tomorrow. Please spread the news out so that the sky and sword godly monarchs can prepare themselves. Wang Xian said to Xiantianzi with a smile on his face. Oh, Xiantianzi was slightly stunned. He looked at Wang Xian in a daze and asked, Are you confident? The celestial king of the sky and the godly king of the sword are from the Tianzi continent after all. I might not be able to help you when the time comes. I would like to thank Senior Xiantianzi for his kindness. I will make preparations. I hope they won't disappoint me. Wang Xian said to him confidently. All right then. Since you are confident, I won't say anything. Your potential and talent are not something I can compare to. Be prepared for everything. Xiantianzi took a deep look at Wang Xian and said, I will. Wang Xian nodded his head as well. Then, I shall not disturb little friend Wang Xian. I will congratulate you personally when your faction is completed. A smile appeared on Xiantianzi's face as he vanished instantly. Godly king of the sky and godly king of the sword, I hope you won't disappoint me. Wang Xian mumbled as he watched the two of them leave. Both of them did not know the strength of his dragon palace. Since the other party was here to attack him, he could take care of them. If the strength of the dragon palace was exposed, he was confident that he could destroy one of them. However, the other party would definitely run away. The other party was afraid that he would run away, but he was also afraid that the other party would run away. The news of Wang Xian's arrival did not attract anyone's attention. However, 2 hours later, the AI sent out a notification and message. Tomorrow, the 4 godly monarchs and the Dragon King would personally attend the memorial service for the heroes of the humans of the Tianzi continent. The moment this news was released, it caused quite a stir. What? It's not surprising that the 4 godly monarchs are here. However, if the Dragon King is here, wouldn't a battle between the godly monarchs break out? That's right. Didn't they say that the Dragon King has left the Tianzi continent? Why is he suddenly announcing that he will attend the memorial service tomorrow? Will the extremely angry Sky God King and Sword God King let the Dragon King off? Will there be a battle? Many people on the AI were discussing worriedly. It was not impossible to have a battle between the God Kings during the memorial ceremony. The God King was high and mighty, but no matter what the occasion was, even if there was a battle, who would dare to say anything? That Dragon King still dares to appear? As long as he dares to appear, we, the God King, will definitely kill him. After killing the Dragon King, my grandfather was killed by him. Tomorrow, we will use the Dragon King's life as a sacrifice. Some people from the city in the sky and the sword domain were venting their frustrations as they posted messages on their AI. Clearly, many people from the sword domain and city in the sky were filled with hatred towards the Dragon King. I never expected this. I really never expected this. At this moment, in the sword tomb of the sword domain, a sky-reaching sword beam instantly shot into the sky, flying towards the city in the sky. Sky God King, that Dragon King is extremely arrogant. He actually dares to participate in the memorial ceremony tomorrow. Since that's the case, let's use his blood as a memorial. Sword God King directly charged into the highest palace in Sky City, as his voice sounded. He is indeed a little arrogant. He is very confident that the two of us will not be able to stop him. A towering figure appeared in the divine seat in the hall. Let's wait here for a few hours. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.